of shadows, eyes never sleeping, searching for the gallows. Lost in neon heartbeats, data pouring through veins, whispers in the alley, lights driving insane. Two singers exposing the truth, two singers coming for you. Two singers exposing the lies, open your eyes. Streets paint fear, numbers on the screen, darkness looking near, rebels never flee. Clocks ticking madness, voices break the chains, signals crossing static, unmasking those who read. Two singers exposing the truth, two singers coming for you. Two singers exposing the lies, open your eyes. Two singers exposing the truth, two singers coming for you. Two singers exposing the lies, open your eyes. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Truth and the lies. Fake whistleblowers with stories to tell. Fake whistleblowers with stories to sell. Fake whistleblowers with stories to tell. Fake whistleblowers with stories to sell. By my story, forgetting my deceit. By my story, deception complete. By my story, forget all my lies. By my story, open your eyes. Fake whistleblowers with stories to tell. Fake whistleblowers with stories to sell. Fake whistleblowers with stories to tell. Fake whistleblowers with stories to sell. Stories to sell. By my story, by my lies. By my story, forget my default. By my story, deception complete. By my story, forget all my lies. By my story, open your eyes. Fake whistleblowers with stories to tell. Fake whistleblowers with stories to sell. Fake whistleblowers with stories to tell. Fake whistleblowers with stories to sell. All the lies. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. By my story, click and be fooled. By my story, click and be schooled. By my story, don't you ever doubt. By my story, now there's no way out. Fake whistleblowers with stories to tell. Fake whistleblowers with stories to sell. Fake whistleblowers with stories to tell. Fake whistleblowers with stories to sell. All my lies. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. All my story.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and I hope you will buy my story because we are inundated with a never-ending parade of fake UFO messiahs, fake UFO whistleblowers. And I always say this, and this is important, very important to realize. They're not here to tell you stories. They are here to sell you stories. And I've often gotten complaints or arguments from people. Well, Stephen, I didn't buy anything from them. You pay with your attention. You know, when you click on that video, somebody's getting paid. And it's the scumbags behind a lot of these stories that are getting paid. And lately I've been seeing that it's just so coordinated and so childish and so stupid. Jake Barber, this is a great example. He does a big News Nation interview that largely flops because they promised that he'd have firsthand knowledge and firsthand evidence, but then they showed us secondhand evidence, and he told his so-called firsthand stories that have absolutely not a shred of evidence. And sorry, not sorry, I have been here before, my friends. And history is our greatest teacher. I did two pieces on UFO whistleblowers of the past. And that word has absolutely the word whistleblower has absolutely no meaning anymore in the UFO land community because real whistleblowers have evidence. I've said it time and time and time again. And these people have no evidence. They have stories to tell you, sell you. Very important that we realize it's to sell you the story. And pardon me, I'm kind of fired up today because I'm tired of this. I think it's just gotten to the point of ridiculousness. And I've realized that we did not set a goal tonight. So let me do that very quickly. I hope you'll buy my story, right? Uh, 1 second here. Let's get over to the live chat. I see we have a great group of truth seekers in the audience already. So we're going to set a goal for, let me see, all the colors. And yeah, and we'll do some kind of overtime tonight. But honestly, had a very long day. You ever have one of those days? I had one today. My oldest son, has a half a day, which I hate half days. Can they just not do those? Because we put them on the bus, and then a few short hours later, it feels like we have to get them off the bus because it's a half a day, and it just kind of wrecks the whole day. And I'm just going to put overtime here for the goal. And yeah, we've got an easy goal tonight because we're going to have some fun, and I've got some very funny stuff to share with all of you. But before we actually get into the fun stuff, we like to educate as well as entertain people. So pardon me if I'm sort of serious and scholarly during the intro of tonight's broadcast. And of course, this also helps with those reviews. For those unaware, we constantly get demonetized. I've tried not cursing. I've tried not using off-color humor. I don't know why, because it seems like, if you're Dr. Stephen Greer, you can go on YouTube and tell people that members of my team got murdered. And that's advertiser friendly, even though those people died of natural causes and Dr. Stephen Greer is lying through his teeth, right? To get ad revenue. It's perfect. It's fine. It's fine. But this is where we find ourselves. And unfortunately, you have to fight in the arena in which you find ourselves. So one of the good ways that we fight that is to do some serious things in the beginning of the broadcast. If you're here for the funny stuff, it'll be here. I just spoke with cosmicjudas or Cosmic Surplus, and I've gotten permission to play any of their material on the show, and we're going to take advantage of that offer tonight. Also, thanks to them for part of the thumbnail, the larger part of the thumbnail tonight. Look at this cast of characters. It's kind of ridiculous, right? We've got Dr. Stephen Greer, who, by the way, Dr. Greer has been at this for 30 years. I always say this, like, why do we need another document? Why do we have to buy another documentary, Dr. Stephen Greer? Because here he is in 2002 saying that he had the smoking gun evidence of alien visitation on Earth. This is from 2002, friends. And this was very, very expensive. And it's filled with fake documents, fake whistleblowers, fake stories, people that claim they have superpowers. That's coming back again. Yeah! Everybody's got psionic superpowers all of a sudden. And even Twitter accounts that never mentioned psionics are now experts and doing content and offering courses and how you too can get your superpowers. But back to Greer. If he had the smoking gun proof or evidence of alien visitation in 2002, why did he need to make like 8 more documentaries and sell all those extra books and live events? You already proved alien visitation was real in 2002 with this amateur hour shit. It looks like he went to the library and used a photocopier to make this stuff that he sold stupid people in 2002. But the point is very important. History is our greatest teacher. Dr. Stephen Greer claimed he had the smoking gun evidence of secret alien visitation on Earth in 2002. Then why does he need money now? Shouldn't you have already gotten money from being the guy who proved that aliens are visiting Earth in 2002? And, at some point I say, Dr. Greer, how much more money do you need? He has verifiably collected millions of dollars just in crowdfunding to make his crappy documentaries with Third Phase of Goon, right? The people making his documentaries are provably the biggest UFO and alien hoaxers in the history of this whole thing. That should inform you that Greer is not who he pretends to be. He's just another fake UFO messiah. And he's got his own fake whistleblowers, let's not forget that, like Michael Herrera, who got busted by his own commanding officer, who said none of that shit he talked about ever happened. None of it. None of it. So what do? Do we get our money back? Oh, we can't. Because we're not paying in money, friends. We are paying in attention. And isn't it interesting that that's the way the system works, right? The system works by us giving them our attention. And that's part of the problem. If all of us just collectively said, let's take Greer for the first example. If all of us just collectively said, this guy's collected millions of dollars, telling all kinds of stories, he's never proven anything, then it would end. It would be over. But don't worry, friends. There's no shortage. If you're a grifter or you want to be, there's no shortage of stupid people who will constantly click on your videos. Even if after you get caught selling fake story after fake story after fake story, they'll be back for another helping of dangle that carrot. Disclosure's coming any day now. And what happened to Greer's predictions? Wasn't he saying disclosure's coming by next week? Wasn't that a month ago? Right? Something like that. I can't keep track. But back to the more studious version. So, friends, we like to educate people. So I've written a short piece on UFO messiahs, and tonight we'll be doing a critical examination of these self-appointed prophets in the UFO subculture. After all, the UFO subculture has long been populated by individuals who claim to have exclusive secret knowledge about extraterrestrials, government UFO crash retrievals, and ongoing alien visitation. These self-styled UFO messiahs operate with an air of authority, often presenting themselves as whistleblowers or government insiders with access to secret or top secret, even classified information. And my friends, despite their grandiose claims, a common pattern emerges. They fail to provide verifiable evidence. They rely on sensationalism and frequently monetize their narratives. Tonight, we're going to examine some of the recurring characteristics of these figures, providing historical examples and exposing the mechanisms through which they sustain their influence in popular culture, despite a complete and total lack of any proof that they provide. So I have been studying this for far too long. And I have noticed some red flags and common traits of these so-called UFO messiahs. Although UFO messiahs come from many different and diverse backgrounds, they all share several key characteristics. First, exaggerated or fabricated backgrounds. Many of these figures claim past careers in the military, intelligence agencies, or high level government positions. However, upon real scrutiny and investigation, their credentials often turn out to be extremely exaggerated or even in some cases, outright, complete, and total false fabrications. They may claim that they had access to secret programs, but most of the time, these so called programs they were involved in are completely and totally unverifiable. Some would say non existent. They only exist in the land of make believe. And then, of course, the second trait that many of them all have in common is excuses for lack of evidence. When pressed for real or tangible proof, these individuals rely on common deflection tactics. They may cite national security restrictions, non disclosure agreements, security agreements, or claim that the evidence has been confiscated, or assert that revealing too much could put lives in danger. And number three, ever pending revelations. A hallmark of UFO messiahs is their promise that groundbreaking evidence will be released soon. These vague deadlines are frequently pushed back, excuses are made for why nothing materializes from their predictions, and this allows them to maintain intrigue and continue profiting from their followers' anticipation of coming events. Number four, and most importantly, are their profit driven motives. Many UFO messiahs engage in book sales, paid speaking engagements, monetized YouTube channels, exclusive content subscriptions, Patreon, and donation campaigns. And by the way, I don't have a problem with Patreon. I have a Patreon. My Patreon is $1. I think that's very reasonable, and you just get some extra goodies. It's a way people can support your work. I don't have a problem with somebody having a Patreon like mine, but go look at some of these Patreons. You get like extra goodies, extra goodies. There's 20 tiers. You could pay hundreds of dollars a month for some of these, and that's ridiculous because they don't have any secret information. It's a con, a scam. Okay, so they rely largely on the promise of future revelations, and this serves as a marketing strategy rather than a commitment to the actual truth. And then, of course, there is the hostility. Number five, hostility to skepticism. Rather than engaging with skeptics in critical discussion, these figures often attack skeptics and journalists who question their claims. They may frame themselves as persecuted truth tellers or label distractors as government agents attempting to suppress disclosure. Today, I was called a government disinformation agent by one of these UFO whistleblowers who it just so happens that he's pushing fake stories from a known government paid disinformation agent, an admitted paid disinformation agent. I'm, of course, talking about Charles McNeil, who we covered before. He's the so called UFO whistleblower that's regaling stupid people in spaces with stories that he's a government insider whistleblower and he's going to tell you the truth about aliens. Just one problem: he's a convicted child predator and a man who is convicted of multiple bank robberies or involvement in bank robberies. He was even convicted of trying to get a 16-year-old girl to go rob a bank from him while he was serving a sentence for robbing another bank. And this is the person who is calling me a government disinformation agent while he is pushing the Serpo story, which we know it's been fully debunked that story came from Richard Doty's home. From his IP number, he was caught dead to rights. I interviewed him and he denied it. But Richard Doty, who is a known paid government disinformation agent, he'll admit it himself. I was a paid government disinformation agent. This guy in prison in a jail cell calling himself a UFO whistleblower is putting out stories from a known paid, admitted paid government disinformation agent while calling me a government disinformation agent. So, of course, we have some examples. Bob Lazar, of course, who we've talked about many, many times. He claimed he worked at an alleged facility that the government possesses alien technology. It's been 30 plus years. He's never proved anything. His academic and employment records have been widely debunked, yet he and the people working with him continue to profit from his stories through books, documentaries, and more. And then, of course, my favorite, David Wilcock, the perpetual promiser. David Wilcock has long presented himself as an insider with secret knowledge about extraterrestrials and hidden technology. He's repeatedly claimed that mass arrests of the corrupt elites and full UFO disclosure were imminent. Most recently, he says that there will be a mass alien contact event with angelic ET beings by May of 2025. Um, so, of course, none of his past predictions have ever materialized, and there have been hundreds of claims that he's made. And despite decades of failed predictions, he continues to sell books, host expensive seminars, and solicit donations from his dumb as rocks followers. Then, of course, Corey Goode, the secret space program fabricator. Corey Goode rose to prominence by claiming to be a whistleblower from a secret space program, or SSP. And his story involved intergalactic diplomacy with alien species. He claimed to be Earth's galactic ambassador. His claims lacked any supporting evidence, and he had been caught with his cult like members doxing people, threatening people, skeptics, harassing people, even trying to get people fired from their jobs who were critical of him on the internet. And his narrative evolved inconsistently over time as he needed more material. He, of course, monetized his stories through paid webinars, crowd-funded projects. Well, I'm not so sure about the crowd-funded projects. Maybe that's someone else I was thinking of. Let's strike that from the record. I take it back. He has monetized his story through being paid to be on Gaia TV, paid webinars, and, of course, collecting money for legal battles to protect his intellectual property, treating his unverifiable claims as some kind of brand or intellectual property that he says was worth billions. And then, of course, we know that he was a secret space program fabricator because he admitted under oath in a court deposition that he'd never even been to space. Then, of course, Lue Elizondo, the UFO insider with vague assertions. Lue Elizondo is a former Pentagon employee, but as a Pentagon employee, he had nothing to do with UFOs. He was never the director of a UFO program like he originally claimed, funded, or otherwise. He's positioned himself as a key figure in the so called modern UFO disclosure movement. And while he has claimed that the US government possesses evidence of non human craft, he has never provided any proof. None. His background, though he really did work for the Pentagon, his background was largely exaggerated, I believe, to sell himself with more credibility. And he's gotten money from media appearances, I believe, book deals, television show deals, documentary film deals, and more. And then, of course, there's David Grush, who I have here as the latest in a long line of whistleblowers, but that's before this latest crop of people popped up. We're trying to keep up. David Grush, some 600 plus days ago, made headlines with claims that the U.S. government has recovered alien craft and bodies. However, like all of his predecessors, he has offered zero hard evidence beyond secondhand accounts or anecdotes, stories people told him. His background has been used to lend him credibility, but his testimony remains completely and totally unverifiable. Conveniently timed to generate media hype and commercial opportunities, and let's be clear, millions of dollars was generated from the Dave Grush story. And I always have to do this. We'll check in. Days since June 5th. That's when he originally came out. And what we know now is that there's 604 days. David Grush has not provided any evidence for 604 days. And it's important to remember that David Grush promised us that there would be all these whistleblowers coming forward that had firsthand knowledge. And I believe that a lot of this stuff is orchestrated. All these grifters, it's like grifts of a feather. We grift together. So Dave Grush says all these whistleblowers are coming forward and everybody's waiting. And now along come these new ridiculous people like Jason Sands, who claims to be a whistleblower. You know him, the guy who claims that he was sent into a cave to murder aliens, right? He's the alien assassin, and he met an alien in the desert somewhere. No evidence whatsoever. And then we have Jake Barber, who claims he was part of a UFO crash retrieval program, but then he says, "Oh, I don't know. I didn't know what it was." First he said, "I didn't know what it was." Now he's like, "I'm 100% sure it was aliens." Why? Because some people told me. Some other wackadoos told me that was an alien spaceship. And it gets more and more ridiculous the longer we're here. So there is some psychological aspects and appeal of UFO messiahs. After all, the continued popularity of UFO messiahs can be attributed to several psychological and societal factors. First, a desire for meaning. Many people, including me, honestly, many people want to believe that we are not alone in the universe and that hidden knowledge will soon be revealed. Then, of course, there's the distrust of the government, something I also completely and totally understand, being incredibly distrustful of the government myself. The secrecy surrounding military projects fuels speculation that the government is hiding extraterrestrial secrets. Then, of course, there is community and identity. Followers of UFO messiahs often find a sense of belonging in the UFO communities, reinforcing their belief system and discouraging skepticism. And then, of course, there's some entertainment value here. I used to love these stories, but after a while, the stories just weren't enough. If people were going to present these stories as true, I wanted evidence that those stories were true, and I've never gotten any. But of course, sensational UFO claims, they're captivating and they keep the audiences engaged even in the absence of evidence. So, what we learn in our quick study of UFO messiahs and fake whistleblowers is that they thrive in an environment where skepticism is dismissed and discouraged. Critical thinking is completely discouraged. People live in their echo chambers. Skeptics and people questioning the narratives are not allowed. And those narratives, let's be clear, are monetized. And despite their repeated failures to provide tangible proof, they continue to attract big and devoted followings, highlighting the power of belief over evidence. But by recognizing these common tactics and historical patterns of these figures, we can better navigate this landscape I call UFO land with a critical and scholarly approach. And I believe that is the best way to go about this. So I'm going to share my screen because I'm kind of losing my place, and this may help me. This may help me get back to it. Yes, it will. So we've done a little piece on Greer. Um, I don't. We've done a larger story about Greer recently, so we can kind of skip over him. The biggest thing you need to know about him is that he's claimed that he has evidence since 2002. This is garbage. It's not evidence. It's a lot of fake documents in here. Provably fake government documents were included in his so-called smoking gun evidence or proof. I'm here to tell you, Dr. Greer, fake government documents are not proof of anything other than your own gullibility and stupidity and willingness to use fake evidence to sell your fake stories. Jason Sands, Michael Herrera, I think, is the worst. You know, his commanding officer said none of the stuff that he talked about on the Sean Ryan show ever happened. He claimed that he saw a floating flying saucer and they were loading pods into it. He was on a secret mission. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't on a secret mission. He's basically full of it. And of course, we have David Grush, who we have done extensive coverage of. And David Grush, I believe, will one day be a study into the psychology and how the UFO Messiah phenomenon works. You want to sell a fantastic story? Get a guy with great military and intelligence credentials. Send him out on a tear saying aliens are real and the government knows about it and I'm sure of it. And you too can make millions of dollars. And we know that millions of dollars was generated from the Dave Grush stories. And although they all made millions of dollars, guess how much evidence was generated from the Dave Grush stories? None. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. And then we get this Eric Hecker, my favorite guy. Remember him? He's the plumber that claimed he was a part of Project Stargate as a child, but we know for a fact there were no children that were a part of Project Stargate. There's a list of people that were in Stargate. He wasn't one of them. He's the guy that had top secret documents, he said, on his website. That was his proof of his claims. And on top of one of those documents, it said, classified as hell. I'm sorry, but I'm here to tell you, real top secret government documents are not labeled at the top, classified as hell. And of course, Bob Lazar, who we've mentioned in detail here, we've done so much to uncover that he's a fake government scientist. He's a convicted pimp. He never was a government scientist. He never was a scientist. His education is fake. His work history is fake. He lies constantly. If you have the research skills to uncover those lies, or you could just be like Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp and just forget to do that research so that you can pretend that a convicted pimp fake scientist really worked on alien flying saucers at Area 51 while his wife was a convicted murderer and he just declared bankruptcy. Sure, good luck getting a clearance for that, pal. But let's get into something interesting. Somebody found something interesting, and by the way, we want to thank all of our contributors. It's Truth Seekers. It's a concerted effort by more than just me, and many people help me to present our shows, and we always want to thank and acknowledge them. Recently, I was accused of stealing somebody's research, even though I verbally thanked and cited them on that show that I was on, where I shared some information. Uh, yeah, it was point of failure at Dynamite Biz Quit. Notice something interesting, and I'm here to tell you, friends. If you can't keep simple lies straight, you gotta do better. If you can't keep simple lies straight, then you got a real problem. And and some people will say this is nitpicking. I'm sure I've already heard it. And by the way, this is fair use, transformative work. We're educating the public. The alien assassin was just on Joe Rogan. Even James Fox is running like hell from this guy. I don't know what's going on with Joe Rogan. I am continually disappointed. I like Joe Rogan for everything he does and every guest he has that's not a UFO person. But when it comes to the UFO people, he really needs a translator. He needs a wackadoo translator. And by the way, I would like to volunteer to be Joe Rogan's wackadoo translator, right? Somebody needs to work for Joe Rogan and say, oh, that guy's a total wackadoo. You don't want to talk to him. But apparently, look, I get it. Joe Rogan just likes talking about aliens and UFOs. So apparently he'll talk to anybody except skeptics, right? Except the skeptics. I don't know why. And to be fair to Joe Rogan, I kind of feel like if you're going to have Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp and Jason Sands and all these bullshitters on, the least you could do is balance it out and have some skeptics. I'll come down to Texas. I love Texas barbecue. I'm here to tell you it's the best. It's the best barbecue you'll ever get in your life. I'd be happy to have an excuse to fly down there. I think he's in Austin. I don't know. See a comedy show, eat some barbecue. Hell yeah. Hook Call me. Anyway, this is interesting. And I think it's interesting because it proves the point that if you can't keep a simple lie straight, then maybe you're not telling the truth. And besides this simple lie, this guy's telling people that he got sent into a cave to assassinate aliens. He is now not just an alien whistleblower, friends. He's the alien assassin. But when he met the alien in the desert, he has trouble remembering what the alien asked him for. And like I said, some people may think this is nitpicking, but I don't think so. He can't keep simple facts right.
My craft is damaged. I need some material to repair it. Do you have any tantalum? And I was like, is that titanium? He's like, no. I need some repair material. Do you know where I could find some tritium? And this is what he's talking to me about. And I'm like,
is it tritium or tantalum? Oh, no.
My craft is damaged. I need some material to repair it. Do you have any tantalum?
Tantalum.
And I was like, is that titanium? He's like, no. I need some repair material. Do you know where I could find some tritium? And this is what he's talking to me about. And I'm like, you mean titanium?
Everyone is dumb. Oh, too bad. So he can't even keep straight a simple fact. What kind of metal did the alien ask you for? He doesn't know. He's just making shit up. It's obvious this guy's just making things up. If you ask me, I mean, I don't know. I think that's a pretty important, fact point or data point of the story that you would want to get right. but not Jason Sands, alien assassin. And this is where we're at, and this is where we find ourselves. It's just it's completely ridiculous, but here we are. So I promised some funny stuff. So for those unaware, there's somebody named Cosmic Judas and Cosmic Judas 2. I don't know why they split their Twitter accounts, but they make the funniest videos about UFOs and aliens, bar none. And you can follow them at cosmic_surplus on X, at cosmic_surplus on X. Uh, they really do the funniest stuff about aliens and UFOs. It's really kind of ridiculous. All right, so we're going to share some of this, but I have to change my fair use banner because this one will say comedic parody. These people love false copywriting claiming creators, especially if you're kind of dogging on them. And yeah, we're dogging on them because it's absolutely ridiculous. But I promise you some funny stuff. So this is one of them that I really like. And oh, it helps to share it. I always do that with this new software. No, the other way. There we go. So recently, there's a barrage of new videos released by Jake Barber and the Salt Conference and Gary Nolan. It's all the grifters working together to push a narrative, but Cosmic Judas knows what's up.
About 2 years ago, I brought Dr. Gary Nolan, who's a tenured Stanford professor, to SALT.
A year later, I brought Colonel Carl Nell.
Oh no,
Carl's
Colonel
had a
Nell.
decorated career.
Non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity. This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing.
And so we continued to push further. And ultimately, we found those primary sources. We found folks that are actually on the crash recovery team.
Oh, he's
They have
actually
been
on the
around,
crash
They have
team.
held and
Great.
have transported supposed craft of non-human origin.
Oh, I hope I don't get a copyright claim for the music.
Their claims are
I'll
so
cut it.
bold and extraordinary that they truly are tough to believe.
About 2 years ago, I brought Dr. Gary Nolan, who's a
Okay.
tenured Stanford professor.
All right, let's get to the next one. Sorry, 1 second. One second. Let me pick a few more. I have to be careful because some of these have copyrighted music. Oh, this one's great. We'll share this one. And again, you can follow them at cosmic_surplus on X. Let me get that one ready. This one's also fair use under comedic parody. You're still allowed to make comedic parodies in the United States. Who knows for how long, but it is what it is. All right.
So brave and decided to come out and have the conversation with the American people as well as
Ooh, looks like he's having a stomach problem.
this is a big deal, and what he has to say is
Big deal.
I think I'm being protected, believe it or not, by the NHI.
You
Being protected
met
by
Dr.
aliens.
Stephen Greer.
Yeah, I did. The guy's been 30 years ahead of everyone else on a lot of the details.
So a lot of what he said
No, Stephen Greer has been grifting for 30 years. You notice how there's like this Jake Barber is like in awe of Greer? Like, wow, man, great guy. He's been grifting off of aliens for 30 years. I want in on this grift. He's a legend. He's a legendary liar, Jake Barber. Are you stupid? Are you like, do you have the brain of a 5-year-old? And one of the things that keeps coming back to me, it's probably because somebody mentioned on my X Twitter, by the way, you should follow me at Stephen Cambion on Twitter. Somebody mentioned like, hey, it's okay to believe some of this stuff when you're 12 years old, but like these are grown men that think they have superpowers. Both of these people, I think they have superpowers. Or no, Jake Barber uses people that have superpowers to summon the aliens. Lue Elizondo has remote viewing superpowers. It's so childish. It's like listen to 5-year-olds on a playground. I'm Superman. No, you're not. No, you're not.
is correct.
He's been ahead of everyone. And what I find quite
He's been ahead of everyone, Jake Barber, at collecting money and never delivering, right? You're way behind, man. You just started promising things and not delivering anything. He's 30 years ahead of you.
funny is the one thing he gets the most shit for is the one thing
Lue Elizondo is shitting his pants and puking. Awesome.
he's probably most right about, and that is his CE5 protocol.
Greer added a fifth kind.
Yeah, and of course, Stephen Greer has the CE5 protocols in which he claims that he can summon extra-dimensional, interdimensional, I don't know, aliens and spacecraft. So if you could really do that, wouldn't you just he's held press conferences. Wouldn't you just hold a press conference and then meditate for a while? Come on, show yourself aliens. Come on, show yourself aliens. And then go, there's the aliens, bitches! There's the aliens! I told you I could summon aliens! It is so childish and stupid. My 8-year-old would know that this guy can't really summon aliens. You know what? I'm going to test that. I'm going to explain this situation to my 8-year-old son. Maybe I'll film it and ask him, do you think you can meditate and summon alien spaceships and have superpowers? Do you think that's real? An 8-year-old, I guarantee my son's smart enough to say, no, Dad, that guy's a liar. You can't really do that. But here we are, and a bunch of grown men are pretending that Stephen Greer, who's been caught showing people a cactus claiming it was an alien, who've been caught showing people a moth claiming it was an alien. There's grown men and women who profess to believe this guy. It makes me sad for humanity. That's how stupid this is. It's too stupid. I don't know what to say. Wait, let's go and let's finish this. Let's finish this.
Encounter CE5. Human initiated contact.
This is kind of one of the big breaks we were trying to create.
Yeah, and isn't it funny that these two are going at each other and they both claim that they have superpowers? Both Lue Elizondo and Stephen Greer claim that they have superpowers. Two grown men with wives and children and homes and families claim that they have superpowers, and each of them claims that the other is full of it. They're full of it. That guy's fake. But that guy, he claims he has superpowers. He's so fake. But me, oh, my superpowers are real, right? All right, we're going to take a moment to catch up with the live chat. 1 second, and we'll check on our goal. I just want to have some fun tonight. I've got some more funny videos to share. This Cosmic Judas is the best at making these videos. Okay. We have Fat Chick Thriller is here with a kind and generous $2.99 saying, let's get some donos. Yes, from your mouth to God's ears. This is Railroad Bum. Dr. Greed needs UFO bucks for camel toe surgery. Absolutely. Thank you for your kindness. Mighty Fingers is here with a kind and generous $5. Says, hey, Steve, could you make a playlist for your channel? I'm a casino bro, and it'd be nice to have a Greer playlist, Wilcock playlist, etc. That has been on my list of things to do, Mighty Pingas. I think I called you Mighty Fingers first. I apologize. Mighty Pingas. It's been on my list of things to do for so long. I really should get to it. And I apologize that it's taken me so long. I will look into it and see if I can do that. I have made playlists. I know how to make a playlist, but it's very difficult. The YouTube search thing is very difficult because, like if you go to my YouTube channel and search Greer, you don't find them all. So I'm going to have to do a lot of manual work, but I agree that I should do that. Mighty Pingas with another one. A little cheese for you, pimp. Love the show. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Richard Warner says, now that is interesting. The hate for the intelligent questioning of UFOs as certainly intergalactic aliens or interdimensional beings. Just trust me, bro. Yeah, that's how it works. And Real Steel Bumblehead with a kind and generous $5 says, hey, Steve, it's been a while. I miss you, bro. I have this disease called the job now. Well, sorry to hear that. Day jobs suck, bro. I hear you. I had many. Great to see you again. You look and sound great, Mr. Charisma. Thank you for saying that. You know what? I was just thinking this earlier, Real Steel Bumblehead. I wasn't feeling very good today. Still getting over this weird cold flu, strep throat. Now I feel like I got an ear infection. Just wasn't feeling very good today. But it's okay. You know what I did? I made sure that I showered and I cologned up and spruced myself up. And then I was like, well, I might not feel great, but I look great. And then I realized I'm not just looking great. My wife got me some cologne that she really likes. Man, I'm smelling great too. I'm looking great. I'm feeling great. No, sorry. I'm looking great and smelling great. And that's like half the battle to feeling great. So it really does. Spruce yourself up if you're having a tough day. You'll be glad that you did. Thank you, Real Steel, Rumblehead, and Dave Waffle House with a kind and generous super sticker. And by the way, I've heard that EV Mux is going to fix this so that we'll be able to show the super sticker when people do it. And that would be great. All right, one second. We're rapidly catching up here. I want to make sure, for those unaware, we read every single super chat. Lord Ludicrous with kind of generous $4.99. Jason telling a Dan Burrish story on Rogan is just the chef's kiss of BS and grifting. Yeah, Dan Burrish was, for those unaware, Dan Burrish kind of took Bob Lazar's story and then expanded on it, claiming that he worked with an alien J-Rod at S4 Area 51, the place that doesn't exist. And then it turns out that Dan Burrish was a security guard at a Las Vegas casino while he claimed to be working at Area 51. His story has been completely and totally debunked along with him. The guy was a complete and total another UFO whistleblower messiah that was turned out to be a fraud. He never provided any evidence, but he sure got a lot of stories to tell you, sell you. Chad Wellington with a kind of generous $2. He meant tortillas, not Tritium. Fat boy hungry. Well, it happens, you know. I get hangry myself. But I'll tell you what, my wife is the king of hangriness. Yo, I learned a long time ago, I do not let my wife get hangry, right? There's no fury on earth for a married man like your wife getting hangry, right? Especially like on a long trip. Like, is there a rest stop? Don't you want your children to eat? And she always throws the children in. The children are fine. They're in the back seat with 17 snacks that she throws back there. You know, they've already had chips and dips and I don't know, drink boxes and licorice and candy bars and whatever else. They're not hungry. She is. Mighty Pingus with another one. Joe's been smoking too much of the Tritium rock. Yeah, I think that's a thing, right? And we have Rotary Motion with a kind and generous £2 says, ha ha, clown show. Yes, welcome to the clown show. But we've got more for you. There's a half-hour video from Jake Barber we're going to get to. Lue Elizondo, silent but deadly, says Chad Wellington. Thank you. Another one for the goal. And we've got Mighty Pingus with another one for the goal. Is their superpower fight them peeing on each other? Yeah, I'd pay to see that. I'd pay to see Greer and Elizondo piss on each other. Orc War Chief Reviews with a kind of generous $2 Canadian. You didn't summon aliens, but you did summon the cash. Yeah, well, what's more important? Look, if I could summon aliens, I could summon a lot of cash. That's another thing. Don't you think if you could really summon aliens, couldn't you hold like a huge pay-per-view event where you promise everybody that you're going to summon the aliens and then you do and everybody pays $20? You could make millions summoning aliens, right? Alien scientist. Corbell is the real master baiter. He taught Ross. Yeah, that's bait and switch. That's how they do it. All right, so we're kind of all caught up here. Let me find a few more of these. Oh, I shared this one. We'll get to Jake Barber. Yeah. We'll get to Jake Barber. Oh man, he is gonna, and here's another thing. Before we play this, I just want to say to all you UFO grifters, do know that your chances of ever getting a real job, the minute you go on the internet and start telling your alien stories, your chances of getting a real job are about zero. Because people that hire, they look at this stuff now. They see what your online presence is like. And even if you've said some racist or, off-color remarks, maybe even political things that the hiring person disagrees with you on, what do you think that a job is going to do when they catch you saying stuff like this on the internet, right? What do you think they're going to say? What do you think they're going to do? You're not getting a job ever again. That's why these guys grift so hard. Because once the grift starts, you can't go back. You can never go back.
It was a very feminine energy, I'll tell you that. I felt like something connected with me. I felt like something had tuned in to me and my soul and was
Oh, she's tuning in.
providing me some sense of guidance on what to do and how profound what I was doing was.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so overwhelming that I began to cry.
He was so
It was a very-
overwhelmed, he began to cry, right? Oh, no. Oh, man. This is something else. God bless UFO Judas, right? Oh, well, then one of these is Billy Carson, so we got to do that. Another false UFO messiah, right? Turns out every time he talks about Jesus in the Bible, his sources are fake or nonsensical. And he wrote a whole book about a grifter that wrote another whole book, right? He's grifting off of the grift. That's pretty low blow. Like, well, can't really come up with my own grift, but I found this grifter from the 1950s that wrote these fake Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean book. So I'll just grift off this dead grifter's grift, right? And then he got busted bad in that recent debate with Wes Huff. And I'm glad to see it. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. And I'm not just saying that because he once threatened to sue me. In fact, I've admitted he deserved to threaten to sue me. But all of the rest of my reporting was factual, so it is what it is. Let's hear what Mr. Carson has to say.
There was a galactic
This one's
war
great.
millions of years ago in the Pleiadian star system.
Oh, there's a galactic war.
Planets were being destroyed. They had weapons called the Brahmanda weapon, which would destroy any man on 3 worlds.
Hello, hello.
Ha ha! Here comes Giorgio Tsoukalos, the hair guy. My wife calls him the hair guy. Oh,
Some
that's
bright
probably
lights right here.
copyrighted music.
Hello, Blackpool.
Wow.
Do you know how to greet a 2-headed alien? Hello, hello. The one and
Man, that's
only
lame.
Dr. Billy Carson.
Thank you.
He calls Billy Doctor. A lot of people call Billy Dr. Carson. Yeah, his only college was taking some free online courses that anybody could take for free with MIT and I don't know the other one. I can't remember. Was it Caltech? I don't know. But he took some free online courses that anybody could take. He's no doctor.
Wow. You guys got me good.
By the way, this is fair use. This is a comedic parody.
This is how I envisioned it back in the day. Just walk right through a portal and get to your destination.
Oh, Wordle.
So, pretty cool. Well, you can watch the whole video on YouTube. It's free. Anunnaki by Donnie Arcade, D-O-N-N-Y, Donnie Arcade.
Look,
Let's
there's like
talk
7
about
people in
DNA
the
for a
audience.
second. Saddam Hussein was getting ready to open his own museum. And he was going to open it to the world. And he was going to reveal the Stargate and all these other ancient technologies. Wow. Whew.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Hoof. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Hoof. Oh, thank you, Zero, for a kind and generous $10 super chat. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. We're almost halfway to the goal, friends. We're at 13 of 30. We're trying to take it easy on you guys tonight. You've been so generous lately. Yeah, and we appreciate each and every one of you. For those unaware, we read every single super chat. How do you do that? Just hit that money button and put in $8 million. That would really help. I could finally take some time off, right? Give the grifters a rest. I'm sure they pray for my vacations. Oh boy, says Billy, you can watch the whole video on YouTube. It's free. Yeah, but it's so stacked with ads that every 2 minutes you're going to be annoyed, right? You're going to be annoyed to shit with the ads, right? Moody Mongol is here. Longtime show supporter says, porthole. Billy loves those portholes. He's a backdoor man. I don't know if that's true. Rumors and speculation. What can you say, right? Oh, man. Yeah, I saw that one and I was upset we didn't include it in our Billy Carson thing. Oh, this one's great. We're going to do this one next. Lue Elizondo is such an idiot. Lue Elizondo, you know him, the bald spot sporting dwarf, intellectual weakling and coward, right? He just dyed his hair black, like what's left of it, right? Actually, I guess if I had to choose, I would rather have a bald spot in the back of my head so I still looked good on camera than a bald spot on the front of my head. Does that make sense? I don't know. I guess you got to choose one. Choose the back balding, right? Yeah. So, and Lue Elizondo is here. It says, "Here we go again." Yep. And of course, that's a parody account. Don't sue me, Lue Elizondo. For those unaware, Lue Elizondo is threatening to sue critics again because that worked out great for Corey Goode. Remember when Corey Goode did that? It worked out great for his grift.
I would like to say that Ross Coulthart, as an investigative journalist, a lot of people don't know this. He is not only a fantastic investigative journalist.
Whoa. Lue Elizondo just said that Ross Coulthart is a fantastic investigative journalist. Disinfo dwarf, says alien scientist. Yeah, he's the disinfo dwarf. Disinformation dwarf patrol, right? Oh man, I ought to make a cartoon out of that, Jeremy. Disinformation dwarf patrol. All right, so he just said that Ross Coulthart is a fantastic investigative journalist. Then why was his contract not renewed with 60 Minutes, Lue Elizondo, you dummy? Do you know that he didn't get his contract renewed with 60 Minutes after he accused a whole bunch of members of British Parliament of being child predators and committing the worst, most heinous crimes you could possibly commit against children? I don't want to say it out loud. YouTube doesn't like the P word or the R word, a child R person. So, yeah, he didn't get his contract renewed. Then he came into the UFO community and he keeps getting caught time after time after time after time selling completely and totally 100% provably fake stories, Lue Elizondo. So much so, I was able to make a 10-hour video documenting all of that. And you're going to sit there with a straight face and tell the President of the United States, son, that Ross Coulthart? Oh, Lue Elizondo, you dummy. You're even dumber than I thought you were. And I already thought you were pretty goddamn dumb, Lue Elizondo. I swore. I was like, damn, Lue Elizondo is one of the dumbest people I know. I was wrong in my assessment. You're beyond dumb. You're mentally... Oh, people don't like the R word. Sometimes I wish we could have that word back. There's no other word that describes him saying that Ross Coulthart is a great investigative journalist, but we'll say mentally deficient, mentally disabled, mentally handicapped. This is beyond just being stupid, Lue Elizondo. But all these grifters got to play nice together, so they complement each other, even though they all keep getting caught selling completely and totally fake stories. But Lue Elizondo is in good company because he got caught recently selling that chandelier fake story where he claimed that he talked to the pilots. It wasn't in the sky, Lue Elizondo. It was a reflection of a chandelier in a window. It wasn't a mothership, you dummy. You dumb son of a bitch. God bless the disinformation dwarf, Lue Elizondo.
He's also an attorney. So he looks at things a little bit more discerned.
Yeah, that's great. Ross Coulthart is an attorney, which is interesting. If he's an attorney, then it would cost him nothing to sue me for slander if my reports about his constantly getting caught selling fake stories were not factual and accurate. Why hasn't he done so? Do you know why he hasn't done so? He hasn't done so because my reporting is accurate. Ross Coulthart is a scumbag loser who keeps getting caught selling fake story after fake story after fake story, and we documented it all in a 10-hour video. And Ross Coulthart, the lawyer, hasn't sued me yet. That's how you know that my reporting was accurate. Because if I had disparaged him falsely by claiming that he sold any of those stories as true that were really fake and that wasn't the case, he could sue me for a lot of money. Hasn't done so.
Than I guess maybe a lot of folks in the media does.
They developed the art of levitation.
So here's Lue Elizondo's like, he's such a great investigator and he's so discerning. And then let's let's flip.
Then I guess maybe a lot of folks in the media does.
They developed the art of levitation. Look at this. What you see there is a cord apparently lifting a temple off the ground. And some of the scientists believe that what this is an example of some kind of levitation ability.
I would like to say that
he's so discerning that he thinks that the ancient Egyptians had levitation. Oh boy, I'm here to tell you. Like I said, no matter how stupid I thought he was, imagine that. He's even stupider. Fat Chick Thrillers here. Maybe it's you who is the PDF, bish. Oh man. All right, let me just catch up with the live chat, and I think we're going to move on to this. What are we at in? Yeah, we're at about an hour. I'm going to move on to this Jake Barber latest video, which is a laugh riot if I've ever seen one before. Oh man. So this is how you know this stuff is coordinated, because Jake Barber comes out with his interview, and it just so happens that he has multiple episodes of something like a television show about UFOs and aliens and all that stuff already pre-produced and ready to go. Is that not like a little bit of a coincidence that he just so happened to have pre-produced like a television show, right? Oh wait, we're gonna do one more. We're gonna do one more. Jeremy Corbell. We're gonna do this one too, and then we'll move on to the Barber nonsense video. Oh God.
What's your life been like since releasing the jellyfish UFO video?
365 go. 365 go.
Oh no! Money, money, money!
To the American public.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh man! All right. Actually, before we get to, I do have something else to share. Before we get to this, so I do something here that we call UFO whack-a-mole, and for those that are unaware, UFO grifter whack-a-mole, and what that is we bust these grifters. Sometimes we bust them so good that they have to go away for a little while because their grift gets destroyed by some of the things that we share here on the show. And one such person was this fake whistleblower, completely and total fraud whistleblower named Charles McNeil. I'm going to try to make that as big as I can so we can see that and read it. So this is the fake whistleblower, truth be told. And he says, I will now release all the detailed information I have on the 12 heroes that departed for planet Serpo, July 16th, 1965, called Project Crystal Night by the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA final report number called Project Serpo by the United States Air Force. And so he claims, this guy, of course, claims that he's an insider, a government whistleblower. But it turns out that this guy is a convicted bank robber and child predator. He got arrested for having intercourse with an underage girl. Of course, he has an excuse for that. Well, that was my girlfriend, and we were only a few years apart. I don't buy it. He's a convicted child predator. He's also a convicted bank robber. And while he was serving one sentence for a bank he robbed, he then tried to get a 16-year-old girl to rob a bank for him while he was in the pokey. And this is the level of ridiculousness that we get. First of all, he's in prison right now. He's in Maryland State Prison. And we know that to be true because we can look him up by name and see that he is in the Jessup Correctional Institution in Jessup, Maryland, serving a very long prison sentence. Yeah, and this is where it gets this whole thing gets so ridiculous. So stupid people, and here's where I'm going to get fired up. Stupid people today. He's posting this stuff. Oh, I'm releasing Serpo files, which came from Richard Doty, an admitted paid government disinformation agent who got caught putting out fake stories into the UFO community because the person, the anonymous person, I think it was like Gonzalez or somebody, a fake internet identity, released these Serpo files, and somebody tracked down the IP number where the files originated from and the emails originated from, and they matched Richard Doty's IP number. In other words, a known government paid disinformation agent is the person that released these so-called Serpo files, which basically tell the story of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. No, yeah, we had an exchange program and a bunch of people went to an alien planet. So I said in this Twitter thread, you know what? We're going to share the whole thing because I'm just that petty. I did a show on this guy. He's a convicted child M and a bank robber who is currently in state prison. And then we get this dumbass, Jordan Crowder, who, by the way, has a huge following and loves talking about psychic fake superpowers on his X. He says, child M, his girlfriend was a minor. There's a big difference. Well, you're not supposed to have a minor for a girlfriend that you bang, Jordan Crowder. Do you understand how this works? If you have a girlfriend that's a minor and you bang her and they can prove you banged her, you are now a child M, a predator. And he was arrested for that. I said he had sex with an underage girl. Then he robbed banks and got underage children to help him rob banks. Educate yourself before you defend a P, that P word that YouTube doesn't like, and a bank robber. He says, please educate me then. What was his age versus her age? And what was he convicted of specifically? And I say, I show his entire history of all his arrests, convictions, and jail sentences in my story linked here. I've already provided that. Believe his fairy tales if you want. His major sources so far is Doty, an admitted paid government disinformation agent. Serpo, really, laugh out loud. And then, of course, this is always their excuse. Oh, I'm not going to watch a 2-hour video. Just give me the information. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that, Jordan Crowder. Do you know why, you dumb dickhead? I'm not your free, unpaid research assistant. If you're going to tell me I'm wrong, you dummy, then go watch the video. Take notes. Come back to me and tell me where I got a fact wrong. Because in that 2-hour report, we showed his arrests, his criminal convictions, his jail sentences, the court documents, everything. I have all the receipts for everything I'm saying. But here, this idiot is defending a convicted child predator who had intercourse with an underage girl. And then, after he's already convicted for intercourse with an underage girl and then convicted for bank robbery, then he tried to get a 16-year-old girl to go rob another bank for him while he was in prison. So I say you are the one defending a convicted predator, not me. All the court docs are shown here. Sorry, you're too dumb or lazy to educate yourself, child predator defender. He is a convicted child predator. That is a fact. These are also facts about him. Then he said, oh, you're an angry one, right? He's demanding that I give him answers. I gave him 2 hours of answers. How lazy are you? Are we all in this ADD? You can't spare. You're going to tell me how wrong I am about this clown? Then go put 2 hours in. Take notes. Come back and tell me how wrong I am, stupid. You dummy. You're not smart enough to do this with me. You're just not smart enough. And, I hate to get upset, right? But this is my life, arguing with idiots and stupid people. I'm not ignorant. I'm not a stupid person. And if I say something, especially when it relates to somebody's criminal convictions, I have the receipts. I've showed the receipts publicly before I say things, multiple sources before I say things. But somehow I'm required. I have to do free research for stupid people. So I end with saying I did all the research into his case for my show. I showed all the research with the receipts. You are ignorant and being misinformed by a convicted felon prisoner currently doing time in Maryland State Prison. I showed you guys the receipts. He's in Maryland State Prison. Imagine that. My credibility is not in question here. He has something to hide. Yeah, this guy told me I have something to hide. What do I have to hide? I'm not sitting in a jail cell pretending to be a UFO whistleblower. But these guys are such childish, stupid people, and they so desperately want to believe in their delusions that even a convicted child predator, bank robber who tried to get 16-year-old girls to rob banks for him, as long as they're telling good alien stories that give this guy a disclosure boner, they'll forgive all that other stuff. It's despicable, it's deplorable, it's disgusting. And you should be ashamed of yourself for defending this guy who is regaling people with wonderful alien stories out there in Twitter spaces. And by the way, all of the disgusting, despicable Twitter hosts that host him, I sent my 2-hour report with all the evidence, all the court documents, all the arrest documents, all the conviction-related documents, all of the jail sentences and sentencing documents, proving 100% conclusively that this guy's participating as a UFO whistleblower in Twitter spaces with stupid people from a jail cell. But I'm the bad guy. Always remember, when in doubt, Steve Campion's the bad guy because he doesn't believe our stories. Not from a guy like that. No, call me kooky. I don't think that guy has any good information. And wasn't he like scamming people in Twitter spaces to send him money? I've talked to 2 separate individuals, females, who were requested to send him money, put money on my commissary so I could get some ramen noodles. The food in this prison is terrible. I'm a whistleblower. No, you're not. You're a goddamn criminal. And it's ridiculous that I have to argue with stupid people. But this is where we're at, and this is where we find ourselves. We want to thank Tone Light for a kind and generous $2. One towards the goal. I'm late. Who's robbing banks with kid? This fake UFO whistleblower named Charles McNeil. And by the way, I have one more thing to share about that. Mighty Pingus with a kind and generous $2 says, get him, Steve. Absolutely. People like that I have no patience for. And stupid people, listen, I have no problem if somebody comes to me and they say, it's shocking, right? This guy's pretending to be a UFO whistleblower. Somebody comes along and says, excuse me, he's a convicted bank robber, and right now he's posting on X, Twitter, from a jail cell, or his girlfriend is for him. Maybe, be a little cautious with the information coming from that guy. I have no problem with somebody saying, wow, Stephen, can you prove that? Sure, here's a link to my 2-hour report. I've already put in how many hours, right? And friends of mine have. Area 503 gave me the complete breakdown of most of that stuff, but I had to verify it before I go do a show on it. My point is, I have no problem if somebody comes to me and say, wow, Stephen, that's shocking. Can you really prove that? Yeah, here's a 2-hour report. But don't refuse to look at the evidence and then demand I do more work. I already did the work, dummy, and you didn't. I'm not your free, unpaid research assistant. So let's share this tab. This will be another piece that we share of this puzzle here. Let me get it big so you can see it. This is who we're talking about. And his name is Charles McNeil. And here's a local story. Bank robber gets 20 more years for soliciting teen for Pennsylvania bank heist. A convicted bank robber who solicited a 16-year-old girl to rob a bank in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania last year. And by the way, this is from 2014. I get that, but he's still sitting in a prison cell over this. He got a big conviction on this. Last year was sentenced to serve 20 years in prison on Tuesday in Washington County Circuit Court. Charles B. McNeil, 29, who was already serving a 20-year sentence in the Maryland prison system for robbing a bank in Hagerstown in 2012, was found guilty after 30 minutes of deliberation by a jury of 6 men and 6 women. I'm surprised it took that long. Judge Daniel P. Dwyer sentenced McNeil to serve 17 years on a charge of solicitation to commit armed robbery and to serve 3 years on the charge of contributing to the condition of a child. Dwyer ordered these sentences to run consecutive, and the judge says, I don't know, Mr. McNeil, if there will ever be a chance to rehabilitate you, Dwyer said before his hearing. And the judge said that because the guy was already sitting in a prison cell doing a long stint in prison, state prison, for robbing a bank. And while he was in prison, he somehow communicated to a 16-year-old girl and tried to manipulate her into robbing a bank for him. So the judge says, I don't know, Mr. McNeil, if there will ever be a chance to rehabilitate you, the judge said before his ruling. Washington County Assistant Attorney Christopher McCormick urged Dwyer to impose the maximum sentence. It is paramount that the court send a message to the defendant and the community that we protect children. So this guy's a child predator on multiple fronts, sexual and otherwise. He tried to manipulate a 16-year-old girl into robbing a bank. And you know what his justification is? If you get caught, you won't really do a real jail sentence. They'll just send you to juvenile hall for a little while. McNeil acted as his own counsel. That's how you know the guy's a genius. Always be your own criminal attorney. That always works out great for every criminal that tries that. He told Dwyer before the sentencing phase of the trial that his entire adulthood had been spent in jail or prison. McNeil asked that the sentence being imposed during Tuesday's trial run concurrently to the previous charges, saying he was already facing more than 3 decades in prison in Maryland and Pennsylvania. This is my life, he said. McNeil was locked up in Washington County Detention Center awaiting trial in connection with the bank robbery in Hagerstown when he solicited a girl in a letter last year to commit the robbery of a bank in Pennsylvania. In September, the Washington County Sheriff's Office received a call from a county woman who said she found a letter while going through the laundry of her child, according to the affidavit of probable cause. The letter was from McNeil, who was incarcerated at the time at the detention center. It was titled Maps and Directions. You take these with you. Oh, that's nice. He drew maps for a 16-year-old girl to go rob a bank with. This included turn-by-turn directions from the juvenile's home to an F&M Trust Bank branch in Chambersburg, the affidavit said. You have never driven on Interstate 81, so I'm taking you up U.S. Route 11. Just pay attention to the change in speed limits as you pass through different towns, McNeil said, warning her to avoid being pulled over by the police. The letter advised the teenager to drive past the bank and park in a townhouse complex and just take a breather and focus before going into the bank, the affidavit said. The letter included a alleged holdup note for the girl to give the teller, the affidavit said. No die packs or bait money. I have a gun. Don't make me kill anyone. No alarm until after I leave, the note read, in part, according to charging documents. If you can't get a gun or whatever, you can use the note, the letter said. So this is the quality of the people that we are allowing to come into Twitter spaces and give us information and call themselves UFO whistleblowers. And I have to tell you that the case of Charles McNeil is not an isolated incident. There is many incidents of this. All right, so we're going to get to the, I don't know how much of this I can take. Oh, man. All right, no, we're going to do it. We're going to get to the Sky Watchers. They just so happen to have a video ready, and I have to change my fair use banner from comedic parody. I should have done this already. By the way, the article we shared was shared under fair use. This video we're sharing is shared under fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public. We're going to be critiquing and critiquing the video, discussing the video with our live chat. Let me just take a moment to Yeah, Jeremy says he might be the victim of lawfare. Who knows? I don't trust our courts. Well, he's got a rap sheet longer than my leg, and I'm 6'4". He's been convicted of a whole bunch of crimes. So I don't know. And it's over a decade, Jeremy. He's been convicted over and over and over again over a decade or more. And in and out of prison his entire life. It is what it is. All right, let's share this. And again, this is a transformative work. We're educating the public. So Jake Barber and friends from Skywatcher, of course, they have an organization that wants to make money out of UFOs, just like all these other people. They either start a charity that wants to make money from UFOs, or they start a for-profit business. I'm not sure which Skywatcher is yet, but oh, and before we get to that, the claims coming out of this Jake Barber are just ridiculous. I'm going to share this one first, actually. 1 second. Lou from Lue Reviews noticed this, and I missed this, so kudos to Lou from Lue Reviews. He noticed this. This is ridiculous. So remember I was talking about how childish this is, and that this is like children telling fake stories in a playground? Well, apparently, Jake Barber, the newest UFO whistleblower, is telling people that he witnessed an planetary, I guess. He witnessed space aliens in spaceships having a battle. And Lou from Lou Reviews noticed something that I'm sure you will be amused by. Let's get into this.
This footage from another Skywatcher operation showing the team's protocols. The team hoped to quietly gather evidence for Skywatcher, but instead found themselves in danger once more. As Jake says,
we're in danger.
A UAP dogfight erupted in the sky above them.
A UAP dogfight. That's what they're claiming happened. Wait till you see the video of the UAP dogfight. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. And this guy should be banished from the world of UFOs forever just based on this. Just based on this alone. Forget the fact that they hyped him up pretending that he was a special forces operator and then later admitted, oh, he washed out of the special forces class and he was just an aircraft maintenance person, but that's just a cover for his secret James Bond adventures, right?
He believes the craft summoned by the team was warring with a rogue UAP piloted by an unknown entity attempting to intercept.
The thing is literally fucking flapping. You could look at you.
Oh no, it's birds. It's flapping. And by the way, I realize that people might go, "Oh no, Stephen, we need to see a full video analysis." This is Brandolini's law. The amount of energy required to dispel BS is orders of magnitude more than it takes to create it. To create this BS, they just filmed some birds flying over. But I'm supposed to do a full comparative video analysis and prove 100% conclusively that it's birds? No. How about they prove it's alien spaceships? But I'm pretty sure it's goddamn birds. And if people really want me to, we will zoom in and prove 100% it's birds. I'll get a bird wildlife expert to look at the video and chime in.
It's a fucking bird. You can see it.
Lou's like losing his shit. He's like, it's a bird.
Flapping, you guys. Let me see if I can make this as big as humanly possible for you guys. Okay, watch this object.
Believes the craft summoned by the team.
Look at it flapping right here, right there.
Piloted.
Look at that.
That, my friends, is a bird, meaning that Jake Barber is an idiot or a gullible buffoon. In either case, nobody should think of him as a credible source of information. And I can't tell you how many people have sent me flapping bird videos and then refuse to, acknowledge or admit that it was birds, right? But you can zoom in on it. Even what he just did right here, I think that should be sufficient. And, the burden of proof is on the person making the claims. How about they prove it's an alien spaceship and not a bird? Why do I have to prove it's birds? I mean, just a quick cursory glance, you see flapping wings. It's likely birds.
Dude, look at that. Look at that. Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. Like, if you're falling for this shit, I don't know how Ross Coulthard is falling for this shit. I don't know how Bryce Zabel's falling for this shit.
They need the money. That's how they're falling for it. They just got to play along and they get the money, Lou.
I don't know how their producer Astral's falling for this shit. There is no such thing as psionic fucking super soldiers, okay?
All right, well, we made our point with that one. Let's get over to the Skywatch video, and we'll do that one. So, again, this is fair use. This is a video that Jake Barber, the brand newest whistleblower, who also has no evidence of anything alien or extraterrestrial. He already had videos queued up and ready to drop after his big initial interview. That, my friends, might be maybe like a clue that these people are not what they pretend to be. They don't have any information. And here we're going to have, I think I lost count when I was watching this earlier. I think there's like 5 people throughout a 30-minute video all say, I'm 100% convinced that aliens are visiting Earth. And guess how much evidence they show? All the people that say that. Exactly none. Great.
Do you believe that extraterrestrial intelligence has visited planet Earth?
I think you can go a step further. It hasn't just visited, it's been here a long time, and it's still here.
My name is Alex Klokas. I'm an entrepreneur and investor at SALT. And about 2 years ago, I brought Dr. Gary Nolan, who's a tenured Stanford professor, to SALT. And
I forgot to mention that he's a wackadoo that's been involved in multiple fake UFO stories, provably multiple fake UFO stories this man has been involved in. You're supposed to be some kind of business person? Are you an idiot? Are you stupid? I think all the above.
I asked him,
if you had to assign a probability to that statement, what probability would you assign?
100%.
And that idea that a prestigious, world-recognized scientist would make...
Yeah, but he's world-recognized for immunology. That does not qualify him to declare with research by proclamation that aliens have visited us for centuries or whatever he just said, and that he's 100% sure aliens are visiting us. That doesn't qualify him.
Make a statement that he is 100% confident. Blew my mind.
That statement seems so...
This guy must have a very small mind.
Incredible that it's tough to believe. Maybe a lot of people here hear that and they don't believe it.
A year later, I brought Colonel Carl Nell.
Okay, so this guy, Alex Klokas, brings Gary Nolan to the SALT conference, who says aliens are 100% visiting Earth. And then Alex Klokas had a year to ask Gary Nolan for the proof that aliens are visiting Earth. He didn't get any or didn't ask. Then he brings another wackadoo who has no evidence whatsoever, who says the same thing. And somehow, to this intellectual weakling and idiot, Alex Klokas, I would never give any money to SALT myself, just knowing that there's somebody this stupid involved in this SALT investors thing. Never, never. If you're that gullible and that stupid, and they're doing something here that I call the wackadoo prover maneuver. That is when one wackadoo says something, but never provides the evidence or proof of it. So in order to make it seem more realistic or true, you bring another wackadoo who says a similar or the same thing, who also has no evidence. Listen, Alex Klokas, you dummy, 2 people saying the same thing, each of them having no evidence, is not proof of anything except your own gullibility, stupidity, and idiocy.
To SALT. Carl's had a decorated career leading our military at the highest levels. And he certainly...
Yeah, he left the military in disgrace. Is that Carl Nell who left the military in disgrace? Yeah, I think so.
Did not mince words.
Non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity. This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing.
How confident are you that that is true?
There's zero doubt.
100% true, zero doubt, very similar, almost as if it was coordinated.
If their statements are true, it completely defies our current understanding of reality. The problem, however, is that both Dr. Nolan and Colonel Nell They're kind of secondhand sources. And so we continue.
In other words, somebody told me it's true.
Continued to push further. And ultimately, we found those primary sources.
Oh, you claim you did. But here again is the problem. So this guy Alex has brought forth two people who made out of this world fantastical claims, but they have no proof. So now Alex is going to bring more people that have no proof. But this time they claim firsthand knowledge. So it's slightly different now. No, it's not. These people have just as much evidence. Jake Barber has just as much evidence as Gary Nolan or Carl Nell to support his claims. And that amount of evidence is none. Zero. They got stories. That's all they got.
Found folks that are actually on the crash recovery team. They have been around, they have held, and they have transported supposed craft of non-human origin.
I just want to say that he just made a statement of fact. They were on crash recovery teams. That is putting facts into evidence without having evidence of facts. If you're going to say that he was on a crash recovery team, show us the documents, show us the evidence, show us some pictures, show us some video, show us corroborating witnesses that he was on a crash recovery team. They have none. So this is the game. Just make statements of fact and say it's a fact. He was on a crash recovery team. Yes, so was I. Prove me wrong. You can't. You won't. It doesn't pass the test of falsifiability.
Their claims are so bold and extraordinary that they truly are tough to believe. So we set up an initiative to go one step further. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. At Skywatcher, we've set out to prove it.
You're right, Richard Warner. Yeah, so Skywatch is involved with the SALT people. They're all in bed together. And that orb is a stock video.
First, let's meet Jacob Barber. Jacob Barber is a dedicated patriot who has served his country for 30 years.
As an airplane
working both overtly and covertly for multiple agencies within the Department of Defense, the Department of the Interior, and the...
He's putting more facts into evidence without having any evidence to support those facts. Show me proof that he worked on covert or clandestine operations. Show me the proof. And I don't mean playing war games with real, top tier operators. I mean proof that he was in secret government programs. Show us the proof. He can't, and he won't, because that proof doesn't exist, in my opinion.
Private sector. Jake was recruited into Air Force Special Warfare in the 1990s.
And he washed out.
And then transitioned to the broader intelligence community.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you that.
In the early 2000s.
Yeah, he washed out of the Special Forces part of his career. But they just said, they didn't tell you he washed out. In other words, he wasn't good enough to make it in Special Forces. So they gave him a new assignment. You're going to be an airplane maintenance person. They just said he transitioned, right?
Hello, Jake.
Hello, Alex.
I really appreciate you sitting down to have a chat with me.
Man, absolutely. I appreciate you giving me the invitation.
So, Jake, do you believe that a higher form...
Here we go with the question. Let's see how many people we could say 100% aliens are visiting Earth without having any evidence. This guy is a super genius of the millennium right here. Like, you've already fallen for it twice? Oh, let's get another guy in here with no evidence that'll say the same shit.
Of non-human intelligence has been visiting this planet.
Well, yes, I do.
And when you make that claim, Jake, how confident are you that claim is true?
I'm 100% confident that that claim is true.
Oh my goodness.
Just like the other two guys that are so confident, but they couldn't give us any evidence. If you were so confident, why don't you show us what makes you so confident? Show us the evidence. Why can't they show us the evidence if they're so confident? All three of them now. And don't worry, there's going to be more people before we finish off this video.
Oh boy.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Well, let's dive into that a little bit. So you were involved in some form of crash recovery projects that involved frontier experimental tech from the US government.
So the crash part of it, sounds like something that's unintentional, let's say.
Yeah.
So the reason you would...
Jake Barber has provided zero evidence that he was part of any crash recovery program for the United States government, private contractors, or otherwise. All he has is a story, and this guy's lapping it up. Take from that what you will.
To have a crash recovery program to begin with. broad crash recovery program. You wouldn't set up a program like that in order to go get exotic or non-human aircraft. So teams are set up and trained and out.
There's no evidence that alien crash retrieval teams are set up or anything. There's none. There's stories.
Fitted with all the tools and techniques and training, 3Ts.
What we're seeing is mythology being created before our very eyes.
If hypothetically something ridiculous were to happen, and something of exotic nature were to crash, you're going to call the people that have the most experience with that, and they're going to be the ones you deploy.
And this is like indicating that lots of people in the United States government know that, hey, if you come across an alien spaceship that crashed, there's this organization within our government that can go get that alien spaceship. There's no evidence. There's no evidence that that program exists. Why would it be? Oh, yeah, did you come across the crashed alien? Just call the alien A team to come and get it. It's so childish and stupid that grown men are sitting there like idiots pretending that this is real. And of course, no evidence. Show me the evidence then.
And I'll add a fourth T to that, which is trust. And because of our particular past and history, we had the trust of the U.S. government, and we were deployed on particular tasks, which included the recovery of exotic craft of non-human origin that were connected.
If I could interject there for 1 second.
Oh yeah, you're actually going to question his claims, or you're going to demand evidence? Of course not.
What about the craft made you so certain that it was non-human in origin?
Well, first of all, it was the reaction of our entire crew and our.
Now his story is evolving. Here's another surefire proof that this guy's full of it. In the original Ross Coulthard interview, Ross Coulthard asked him, "How did you know? How did you know it was? How did you know it was alien?" Well, I didn't. I didn't know what it was. Now he's evolved, and his story changed, and now he's got a reason for why he knew that it was alien. And he's also said that members of the UAPTF, including known UFO grifters, Travis Taylor from the Skinwalker Ranch television show, and Jay Stratton, told him it was alien. That's how he knew it was aliens. Well, he didn't say those two, but those two are the people that I believe told him it was aliens, because they're wackadoos that believe things like werewolves followed them home from Skinwalker Ranch, and that bugs flying in front of a camera is really an alien spaceship doing 30,000 miles an hour. So his story keeps changing already. He's only been here less than, what, a week? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? I don't know.
Leadership structure. So it was atypical from how we would communicate and treat any other crash recovery. And then the object or technology itself was something that was inconceivable as being man-made from my perspective and the perspective of my teammates.
What made it inconceivable, though?
Inconceivable was that visually completely abstract. But abstract in a very specific way.
Yeah, so maybe it was something that you just weren't familiar with. That doesn't automatically, oh, I've never seen anything like that, therefore aliens. No.
And what I mean by saying that
false equivocation.
It's abstract with a consistent public idea of what an abstract aircraft would look like.
So Jake, I mean, what does that mean, man? When you say abstract,
that's word salad nonsense.
There's something crazy
doesn't mean
about
anything.
These aircraft.
Word salad nonsense.
Can you? I'm sure there's a lot.
How'd you know it was alien? Well, it was unknown to me, and it was inconsistent with known aircraft. Come on, man.
A disc.
A disc.
A metallic egg.
Okay, a metallic egg. And do you have any idea, like, how these craft were piloted or kind of controlled?
Well,
and here's where we get into the woo, friends. Were you waiting for the woo? Here it comes.
It was obvious that
here
this crash recovery effort was coordinated with another program that had to do with an interest in how consciousness had an impact or could interface with technology.
Okay, so people with superpowers can drive the alien spaceships. I'm going to be your wackadoo translator, friends. And now he's saying there was two programs, one to recover the aliens and one to interface with it. And you know how much evidence there is for either of those programs? Exactly none.
Yeah. We were also invited to be part of a program that dealt with the research and development of the building of a system in which a particular human, not non-human, a particular human with a disposition and talent for manipulating their own consciousness could interface with certain technology.
Yeah, but you have to be a left-handed gay dude that likes to suck other dudes off in order to have that predisposition. So if you want to fly an alien spaceship with your mind or imagination, you better start blowing dudes. And that's very sad, you know? I mean, that would be cool to be able to like fly an alien spaceship with your own consciousness or interface your consciousness to an alien spaceship and control it or interface with it, communicate with it. But apparently in order to do that, you got to be willing to blow dudes. So I'm precluded. I'll never fly an alien spaceship with my mind. It's very sad.
So there's a certain...
And notice they leave that part out. He didn't say, oh, you have to be a homosexual that's left-handed to be one of these people that could do this.
An effort to reverse engineer.
And by the way, I'm currently recruiting left-handed homosexuals. So hit me up.
These craft. That effort...
We're going to see if you can fly an alien spaceship because you're a left-handed homosexual.
Very quickly led to the idea that the power plant for these systems and the interface to manipulate that power plant wasn't done through mechanical interface of levers of phalanges in order to manipulate control systems. It was done through the mind.
Oh, okay. But you got to be gay. You got to be gay to do it.
Not only do we have people from the actual crash recovery team, we have another team. They're called the psionics team.
Oh my God, this is getting so far afield of anything like reality, right? And guess how much evidence they've presented for all of these fantastical claims so far? Exactly none. You get it. It's just a story. We want to thank Duco Dues Alpha Ralpha for a kind and generous $2. One for the goal who says praise the cash. Yeah, we got to check in with our goal. I got to slog through this. We got to hit our goal, friends. We are at 16 of 30. Not looking great. I don't know how much longer we'll be here. For those unaware, we read every single super chat. We're a viewer-supported show, and we appreciate your assistance in hitting that goal.
There seems to be a subset of people that have the unique ability to actually summon these craft.
Are these all left-handed gay dudes?
To be able to focus their thoughts.
Remember, Jake Barber said, in order to be able to do this, you got to be a left-handed gay dude.
And make objects appear in the sky.
Pretty big claims. Make objects appear in the sky, right?
Jordan, I really appreciate you joining us here today.
And here's where I'm getting pissed off and getting fired up, because they're coming out with all these people that claim they're whistleblowers. So we get David Grush, 600 days, no evidence. Then we get Jason Sands, who claims to be an alien assassin. How long's he been here? No evidence. Then we get Jake Barber. How long's he been here? No evidence. Now we're getting new guys. I guess this is one of the left-handed. I was going to use a bad word. Left-handed homosexuals who can summon aliens with his superpowers.
Alex, it's an honor to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
So maybe let's start by sharing a little bit about your background.
Yeah. So most recently, I worked in the space technology space.
He looks like a left-handed homosexual, let's be honest.
A little bit of data science, ultimately taking different imagery types and trying to solve solutions for the utility industry.
I'm curious.
So he worked for the utility industry. How does that have anything to do with qualifying him to summon alien spaceships? I'm curious.
By chance, do you believe that a higher form of non-human intelligence has visited this planet?
I am certain of that.
You're certain?
Okay, so that's 4 people in the space of 8 minutes that this idiot Alex has put forth to say, aliens are definitely visiting Earth. I'm certain of it, or there is no doubt, 100%, I'm sure of it. Aliens are visiting Earth, and not one of these 4 people can give you the evidence to support their outrageous claims? Oh. So these are just stories, right?
How certain are you?
100%.
I mean, Jordan, that's a pretty bold statement. Where does that certainty come from?
Certainty comes from my firsthand experience in what I term a psionic exploitation program.
Psionic exploitation program. Ooh, new James Bond fake terms to go with our bull story.
Of 2005 and 2010, where I interfaced and worked with non-human intelligence and things like UAP directly.
So he claims to have interfaced directly with alien spaceships in 2005 and 2010? What was that?
I mean, Jordan, that is an incredible claim. For
maybe ask him for some evidence.
At home, what were you doing in this program on a daily basis?
Yeah, so this would look at like things that many people would consider woo-wooey, right? Like astral projection or meditation. But ultimately, what we were really investigating was how far could we stretch the bounds of human consciousness. Beyond that, how could we get human consciousness to interface directly with things like recovered materials and recovered crafts?
Sounds like these guys spent too much time listening to Dr.
What
Greer.
I can tell you from the craft and some of the different projects that we worked on directly is ultimately that they interfaced with us. What I mean by that is
Now remember, this dude's a left-handed homosexual, I think. And now he's talking about interfacing with the aliens. This is getting dirty, friends.
My consciousness could project into these craft and recovered materials and then access a suite of commands, essentially capabilities to do various things, including piloting. But ultimately, the story is not about piloting some UAP with your mind. This story is much more about what is consciousness.
Oh, thank you, Sandra McDonald. One for the goal. Kind
Do you have material that supports these claims?
I have tons of material, linearly autobiographical records that will support my claims.
He has tons of material that will support his claims. Great. Can we see it? They don't show it here. Is that a little bit suspicious? Do you have material that will support your claims? Oh, I have tons of it. Tons of evidence. Well, wouldn't it be like a good idea to show us that evidence? Of course they don't.
And Jake, for the listener at home, based on your firsthand experience, there are craft of non-human origin that you have recovered that seem to be piloted or interfacing directly with human consciousness. Is that correct?
Yeah, let me tell you a very short story.
Okay.
Okay. An aircraft crashed.
Yeah.
My team was deployed.
Yeah.
We secured the perimeter.
Yeah.
We secured that target.
Yeah.
We transported that target. We escorted that target and provided security for that target. That target was transported to a facility of a very well-known government-private partner. The decision was made to bring in a team that represented a different private partner who was working on consciousness and...
Wow, see, so what we get is first Jake Barber's initial claims is, I was part of a crash retrieval operation that may have recovered an alien spacecraft. How did you know it was alien? I didn't know what it was. Now the story is evolving and becoming more grandiose, and this, my friends, is proof positive of BSery. The Secret to Everything by Kimberly McGeorge. Very kind and generous, $49.99. Thanks for promoting truth. Well, thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. It is much, much appreciated. The Secret to Everything. And Arms with a kind and generous $20 saying, praise the cash. We are racing towards the goal now, friends. We've got 18 of 30. We need 12 more kind and generous friends to help us to hit our goal for this evening. And Nick P says, praise the cash. Yeah, we're praising it tonight. Look at that, $49. Very kind and generous of you. Thank you. The Secrets to Everything by Kimberly McGeorge. And Arms with a kind and generous $20. For those unaware, we read and thank every single person sending us a super chat. So thank you for your kindness.
The mechanism by which humans could interface with technology. The two were merged.
I just can't get past this. In the original interview with Ross Coulthard, how did you know it was alien? I didn't know it was alien. shouldn't he have said, because later this other team of super secret gay psychics came to interface. Hi, I'm here to interface with the aliens. Where's the alien spaceship? I'm here to interface with the alien spaceship. It sounds so dirty because it is. But shouldn't in the original interview with Ross, when he was asked, how did you know it was alien? And he said, I didn't know what it was. Shouldn't he have said, because later the alien interfacers, gay dudes, came with their left hand, right? And they were trying to interface with the aliens. Shouldn't he have known? Well, it was alien because they brought the alien interface team in. He didn't say that. He said, I didn't know what it was. This stuff was all filmed months and months ago. That's the problem here. And now they're slow dripping this long, drawn out, very complicated story out bit by bit, and it's going to get more grandiose and more grandiose. They're going to bring in more characters and liars to tell parts of this story.
And we were involved with that process.
You were involved in that process?
Yes.
So, Jake, based on your firsthand experience, it sounds
Oh my God, there's that word, firsthand. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it is.
It's got to be a left hand, or you ain't interfacing with them aliens, bro.
Firsthand.
It is firsthand.
It is firsthand.
Yeah.
Based on your firsthand experience, it sounds like we're living in a science fiction novel, and there seem to be craft of non-human.
Yeah, and by the way, Jake Barber wrote a science fiction novel, and guess what the name of the main character in his science fiction novel is? The name is Jason Sands, and he wrote a fictional novel about Jason Sands. Not suspicious at all.
Origin that are flying around our skies, and certain human consciousnesses seem to be able to interface with these craft.
Not just certain human consciousness. You got to be a left-handed gay dude, Alex. Say it. You got to be left-handed and homosexual.
And there are organizations or institutions, if you will, all around the world that know this fact.
Yeah. Isn't it depressing that should be shocking?
It is very depressing, yeah.
That shouldn't be shocking. Thank
Depressing
God,
to me to
like,
be
you know
even
what?
listening to this. I feel like I'm
I
getting
mean,
stupider.
forgive me, but
the
I'm
longer
over
we
that.
watch this.
Yeah. So,
I'm
like,
sorry for this slop, friends.
Let's get past that,
Yeah.
because that is the case. And
You're right.
It
Don't
is
touch me, I'm
exciting,
crazy with
but
kind of
we
generous
have a duty
$1.99.
here. We have a moment
It's
in
just
time,
1950s
thanks to
science
friends
fiction.
like
You're right.
David Rush,
Recycled.
who has stuck his neck out and paved a trail with our government, who, for better or worse, has control over a lot of things.
Thank you for your kindness.
This is
Don't touch me, I'm
an
crazy.
opportunity
Another one for the
for
goal.
everyone
Let's get
to
some
make
super chats,
a
friends. We're
situation
almost
appear
there.
where
19 of 30.
we realize that
We
our
need 11 more.
consciousness has an impact on our everyday life. I can tell you that this is not unique to the United States, and it's not unique to the most well-known private partners of the Department of Defense. And
Yeah, he can't prove it's happening in the United States, but somehow he's going to say it's happening in other countries. Come on, dude. Like, this dude went full wackadoo. You never go full wackadoo. You wait a while before you go full wackadoo. Lue Elizondo waited years before he started telling people about his superpowers. This dude's all in on the superpowers right out of the gate.
the intelligence community. There is a global effort and interest in this, and a global capability in doing this. Crash recovery is something, and reverse engineering is something
Mucho
that is
taco,
being
'cause
done
he's
by
fake,
a
that's
number
why.
of agencies.
This BS
or
is episode
organizations
1. Yeah, they've
worldwide.
got multiple
And
episodes
I know that
of this shit
because
coming, friends.
my team has been sought after and offered jobs to go
Praise the cast. says
perform our
next page.
services.
Yeah,
for,
let's get some super chats. We only need 11
employers
more to get
outside
to
the United
overtime.
States.
There seem to
How
be
do
a
you
lot
know
of
you
people
are the
that are
gay
making
alien
incredible
hunters
claims.
barbecue? All the
And so
sausages
we took
taste
all of
like
these
shit.
individuals that were making these claims,
Oh, king of other
and we
wings,
said,
joke of the night.
prove it. You claim that we can summon things in the sky? Prove it to us. We've got the sensors, we've got the team, we've now assembled everyone, and we've asked these folks to show us and actually verify what they're saying.
Oh, this ought to be good.
And so here we are. We are here in the California desert, and
and we've assembled a
by the
group
way,
of about 15 people.
If they've been doing
we have a variety
this,
of different units within the group.
If they've been doing this for this long, shouldn't they already have sensor data that they could show you? Shouldn't they already have videos that they could show you, pictures that they could show you, firsthand witness testimonies, sensor data, radar data, FLIR night vision footage, thermal cameras, something? They don't have anything? You've got to set up a whole experiment? And what a waste of time. Wait do you see what they show these whole group of science people.
Including a sensor and data team, an operations team, a psionics team, and a scientific team led by Dr. And we are here to see
nothing says credibility. Like, let's do a science experiment and let's have the guy who's been caught selling fake alien stories multiple times, Dr. Gary Nolan, the immunologist, on our science team. What qualifies an immunologist to be on your science team, Alex, you wackadoo? Did you really fall for this? Did you pay for this shit? Oh no, he paid for this, I bet.
3 days together, leveraging the psionics team, seeing if we can actually make something appear in the sky.
Yep,
seeing if we can track it, seeing if we can actually gather data and verify these supposed claims.
Okay, so when the Psi team gets eyes on a UAP, they'll let me know in relation to where it's at over the city, and then I'll essentially go to that place, see if I can get my soda straw camera. So
TJ Felony says the egg video was the best they had to grab the public attention. That's all I needed to know. Yeah, that was weak sauce, TJ Felony.
Kind of details
that was so weak.
The craft that make it unique.
Everybody's heard of recreate that with an egg and a piece of string and a carpet.
This project is aimed to prove what has not been proved in years past. It's to gather substantial evidence to show the American populace that there are substantial alien life and craft and everything else flying around. My name's Dan Flexenar.
The new guy.
Air Force. I've been
the new
in
guy
special
with no
tactics
proof
for 20 years now. I've been in charge of rescue and recovery medical operations for specialized teams.
That's medical operations. What qualifies him to deal with alien stuff? Nothing. And notice how they keep trotting out military people, right? It's like they're recruiting military people to be a part of the grift so that more people are likely to believe.
Throughout my career, and now currently moving into more of a civilian world for this.
Yeah, so I'm 20-year Air Force Special Warfare. I joined in 2000. As a combat controller, very air-centric, very aware of what's going on up above. Basically, a translator for the two between ground forces.
I agree,
and guys that are up there.
That is.
I've seen a lot of things that I just cannot explain it.
Here we are, and I'm not really sure what to expect.
Same things you can't explain does not
I think when you
equate
talk
to
to the
aliens,
teams,
though.
they
That's
have
a problem.
unwavering conviction that something is going to happen, that we're actually going to see things in the sky. Not only do they think that we're going to see things
they don't
in the
tell
sky,
you how long it took
but we're going to be able to
this
track
one
it. We're
piece
going to
of
be able to
fake
actually
proof
gather
they're gonna
a
provide.
variety of different data related
I don't
to
think it
this
took place over one night. I think they did it for weeks until they got something weird that they could sell to stupid people. Cue the Twilight Zone music. You gotta have the creepy music.
My name is Michael
Creepy,
Batista.
dramatic music.
I'm 32 years old and I'm a former U.S. Army Green Beret, 3rd Group.
Oh, another military guy to help sell the story.
And Mike, do you believe that a higher form of non-human intelligence has been visiting this planet?
Yes, I do.
Oh, that's 5.
When you make that statement,
we're up to 5
how
people.
confident are you that is true?
That are
I'm extremely confident.
Extremely.
Do you feel like you
Can't say
believe that is
100%.
true, or do you feel like you know that is true?
I know that it's true.
When did your experience
Jeffrey
with the
Anigi
phenomenon
says,
begin?
director's chair with words on
First
set.
experiences I was having
Thanks,
was,
another
in my
one for
early
the
teens,
goal.
and
This generosity
it started to
support.
accelerate as I grew up. And as my time in the military was ending and I was getting out, it really accelerated at that point.
And when this happens,
Accelerate.
can you explain how it usually
All right, we're at
manifests
19
or
of
how you
30,
experience
11 to
it?
go.
It usually manifests as something anomalous in the sky.
It is. It is.
Orbs.
It's a Skim on the
crafts,
Ranch ripoff.
Different pyramid-looking objects moving at extreme rates of speed and doing very angular movements.
When you do this,
Are there other people around? Do they actually see you doing this?
I have multiple witnesses that can testify that that is a fact.
And how many times do you feel like you've been able to summon something in the sky?
Anytime I want.
Yeah, they want you to believe that just because they're in the military, they're some kind of experts and that they're trustworthy. I know plenty of dudes
I think that
will do this
the
for cash.
kind of
That will
belief
lie
of the
for cash.
team is
Good
very
point,
important.
Vamp Sith.
I think that we've assembled all of the folks that have done this before, and what we're doing does not seem to be new. In fact, it seems as though there's various groups that have been doing this to some degree for quite a while.
Yes, he said he wackos.
Look, there's two. Look at this. Look at this. Look right here. Look at this one going down and this one going up. Oh, motherfucker.
So the items that we saw last
those are the
night
bird. Those are the
could
bird.
maybe be explained as
Bird.
satellites in some instances.
No, those were birds.
Or space trash.
Wow, those are birds.
But really, when we started seeing erratic movement, we started seeing some vertical tracks, and then tracks going.
This Air Force idiot doesn't know what birds flapping in the sky are.
Going from like left to right in the sky.
Is that the bird?
West to east, and
Oh,
then
that
go
might be something
again
else.
vertical.
Pardon me.
And then we saw the
No,
tracks
this might not be the bird.
change course, direction, and speed. So I think that's a
I think I see
piloted aircraft
flapping.
of some sort. I think it's either an intelligent being or it's being told what to do. Didn't flash. It got brighter when it maybe had a reflective surface.
Oh man, this is some.
I don't know
woo in
exactly
this,
what it
boy.
was. There's a few explanations of.
And you'll have to excuse me because I am literally half blind, but I think that might be the bird footage. If not, I will correct myself after I review that footage, more magnified.
Why that could be, but I see those in a varying range of places, from Emporia, Virginia to Fayetteville to.
Yeah, you know what else flies in those areas? Birds, you dummy.
Here, I've seen them everywhere. Only explanation I have is that it could be reflective light or particles that are in our inner atmosphere. But besides that, when they start moving and tracking in different directions, I think we're seeing some sort of craft of some sort.
Oh man. And shouldn't they have better telephoto lenses? Right? You think you're seeing alien spaceships. Wouldn't you have like a really good camera? The best you could do is dots on a huge screen, little tiny dots on a huge screen, and we're supposed to believe this is alien spaceships? This is weak shit.
During our time together, all 15 of us saw some form of unusual lights in the sky. These lights would randomly appear, stay for some short period, and then disappear.
Lights in the sky does not equal alien spaceships.
Oftentimes, multiple lights would seem to appear at once. They would frequently move in patterns or angles that, at least to me,
This is a great
seemed
grip.
unusual
Just film
for plane,
anything in the sky and
satellite,
claim it's alien.
meteor, or space debris. But I am no expert. On the last day, however, one thing did happen.
Ooh.
We had a couple of our folks that felt like it was a good time to try to communicate with potentially a craft or an entity that was out there through the methods that they use. You know, I just took a spot up on the roof to be able to observe what's out and around us, and then also have another set of eyes.
Plane. It's Superman, says Anna Louise.
Got on the
Might
roof,
as well.
say, you know, I'll
might
be
as
up
well
here,
say they
had
filmed
my phone,
Superman.
you know, let's be ready to record if something.
That's even more
went down.
believable than this shit.
And it did.
The psionic team claimed to be connecting with an object, and our sensor data caught this.
Oh, a daylight sighting. And again,
While this was
you
happening,
film that with a
Fred went
potato?
up to see if he could see anything with his naked eye.
So I can hear them talking through certain things, and then he said something like, it's forming. As soon as he said that, I stepped out to look behind me, and that's when I saw
it's the Mothman.
whatever it was.
Suddenly, Fred saw a second object appear
this is
above our
Fred's
base.
drawing.
It was all gray, matte, like not shiny at all.
Did he remote view this, or did he
It
see it with
was
his own eyes? I'm
elongated
confused.
oval, where it looked like there was.
Where's the
you know,
video
the
of
opposite
it
of a
then?
seam.
Where's the
bursting out in
pictures
the
of
middle,
it?
going
All
the way
we get
around
is
to
a
look at the
goddamn
rim,
drawing?
'cause the bottom half of
What
it
a
was
bunch of
extremely dark.
losers.
It
Come
made
on.
absolutely no sound, which doesn't make sense because
Space
of its
yodeling for a
proximity. Like,
UFO.
if it was
Gemma
small,
Jackson is
it
here.
was something
Welcome,
maybe
Gemma.
the size of this,
Good to see
this
you.
razor, then it was really close.
It's always an artist
We're talking
rendering. Absolutely.
600 feet. If it was larger, which I kind of believe that's what it was, you're looking at 5 to 8 meters long. Then
it was 500 to 600 feet away, and you couldn't get a video? That's the best you did with all your high-tech equipment, filming a craft that was 500 to 600 feet away? Or did he say it was 500 to 600 feet in length? I don't know.
If it was small, it was something maybe the size of this razor, then it was really close. We're talking 500, 600 feet.
They don't even know the distance that the object was. Some experts.
It was larger, which I kind of believe that's what it was. You're looking at 5 to 8 meters long, then probably around 1,500, 2,000 feet altitude moving north to south.
All right, so maximum it was 2,000 feet away. Friends, I have an Android phone that could have filmed that in perfect HD. I think I could film in 4K. 1,000. Wait, I gotta hear what this guy said. So if it was small, it was only 500 to 600 feet. But if it was large, it was
maybe the size of this razor.
It was
then it was really close.
1,000 to 2,000 feet.
500, 600 feet. If it was larger, which I kind of believe that's what it was, you're looking at 5 to 8 meters long, then probably around 1,500, 2,000 feet.
It was maximum, the object, the unidentified spaceship was 2,000 feet away, and you guys couldn't get a clear image of it. This, more than anything else in this entire production, proves that these guys are full of it. You've got an entire team of 15 or 20 people. Nobody has a camera that can get a clear image of an object 2,000 feet away.
Altitude moving north to south.
Don't they have telephoto lenses? Don't they have good cameras? Wouldn't you have good cameras if you were trying to prove to the world that you could summon spaceships? Isn't it a little bit of a coincidence that they didn't have a camera good enough to get a clear image of a 5 to 10 meter object 2,000 feet away? Everybody's got one. It's called a phone. It's called a phone, stupid. Where were all your phones? You should, if they had 15 or 20 people there, they should have 15 or 20 phone videos at least. Then we could triangulate the data, right?
You know, it looked sturdy, it looked heavy.
I didn't have any camera good enough to get an image, so I had to draw you a picture of it that just so happens to look like Bob Lazar's spaceship that he worked on at Area. Come on, this is so childish and stupid. It's grown men LARPing, man. This is weak as shit. This is terrible.
Bird, you know, if it were an aircraft, any kind of conventional thing that we have now, it would have rocked us at how low it was. So 20 years in the Air Force and never even seen anything close to that. Nothing. There was no observable propulsion. There was no wings. There was no rotor. With that kind of speed, you should hear something, especially if it was that close. So I was shaking. Like, it was super exciting. I mean, I'm not going to start shaking over an F-16 flying overhead or a bird dive bombing. That was incredible. Yeah, I don't.
His emotional response is not proof that this object was anything anomalous. You could be mistaken. You could be excited. You could be, you know, this is so dumb.
I don't know what to say.
Dr. Nolan was there, and this was his perspective.
Oh, yeah, let's get the opinion of the guy who's been involved in multiple UFO hoaxes, right? And for-profit fake stories that were proven fake or that they never provided evidence for. Yeah, let's get his perspective.
I personally didn't see anything in the sky or on the ground. But what I did see was...
In other words, even Nolan's like, this shit is too stupid for me to back. It's too stupid.
An individual who, in the midst of attempting to call such an object, exactly at the moment...
Let's show him with some sciencey stuff. By the way, is this Stanford University labs or equipment? Hey, Mr. Nolan, I think we got you on this how many times now? According to Stanford's codes of ethics, Mr. Nolan is not allowed to use university labs or equipment to personally profit. Were you paid for this appearance? Just curious.
Interacting with something. the individual on.
Oh, I seen a guy who said he was communicating telepathically with the alien spaceship, and he said he was, so.
Roof, who had the cameras, saw something. When we reviewed what it was that the person on the roof had seen, something showed up.
Oh my God. It was 2,000 feet away, and this is the best they could do. A potato could take a better picture, Gary Nolan. A potato could get a clearer image of an object in the sky that was only 2,000 feet above you. Come on. Or 2,000 feet away from you. They're claiming that the object was a maximum of 2,000 feet away, and this is the best they do for imagery. That could be anything, including a child's balloon that got let loose, right? Oh, no, it was an alien spaceship. Trust me, bro.
I mean, it was fleeting, but it was clearly not a bug. And so,
oh, it wasn't a
what
bug.
do I have?
It must be an alien spaceship if we're sure it wasn't a bug.
I have a person who claims to be doing something. It was clear that he was in distress at the moment of the supposed interaction.
Somebody being in distress, again, somebody's emotional state is not proof of alien contact, Gary Nolan. And you should know that, super genius of the millennium. How much college did your mommy and daddy pay for you to come up with such profound insights, you dumbass idiot?
And at that moment, something is seen. What do you have? You have a correlation.
There is no correlation. Come on.
So we have an egg-shaped object that our sensors caught moving in one direction, supposedly connected.
This is 10x zoom, and they're claiming the object was 2,000 feet away. This can't be 10x zoom if the object was only 2,000 feet away. But I'm no photography expert, but come on.
To our psionics team.
And this is 5 times speed. So what that means is that this thing just flew right by the camera. This could be a bug, could be a balloon, could be a balloon if there was high winds. And why don't they give us any data? What was the wind speeds, right? Where's the sensor data? Don't you have sensor data? Did you check satellite tracking software? Did you check Flight Radar 24? Can you eliminate prosaic explanations like a bug or a balloon? No, they don't bother to do that. They jump right to alien spaceship. And if this is 5 times speed, imagine how quickly we could slow it down. I'm going to do a full analysis of the bull that they're putting forth in this. This is ridiculous.
So we have an egg.
Imagine how quickly that thing went across the horizon then if this is 5% speed. They had to slow it down this much?
Egg-shaped object that our sensors caught moving in one direction.
Wait, I got to do this. We'll just count by 1,000s. How many seconds does it take for this object to go across the field of view of the camera? Okay, we'll do that. This is they slowed it down to 5% speed. They did that for a reason. So let's see. 1,001.
So we have an egg-shaped object that our sensors caught moving in one direction.
1,004.
Supposedly connected to our psionics.
1,005. 1,006.
And the disc shape.
1,006. That means that this is 5% speed. That means that this object went across that what? Somebody do the math. If it goes across the whole field of view of the camera at 5% speed in 6 seconds, then what did it actually go across the screen in real time? This is the weakest. This is basically a hoax. Anything flying that fast is probably a bug, right?
Shaped object.
Oh, and you got to show us an artist rendering. This is what we imagine it to look like. We can't prove it looked like that, and our shitty ass footage can't prove it looked like that. So we'll just draw a pretty picture and pretend that's what we saw with our eyes. The cameras don't lie, friends.
Object that Fred reportedly saw moving in a different direction. We worked with an animator.
Oh, we had to make an animation of this so that we could show you the alien spaceship. How about you show us the alien spaceship with real cameras, you dummies? Oh my God, this is so weak. This is so stupid. Why am I watching these these are grown men. These are grown men.
To specifically visualize the disc that Fred saw. This is a recreation.
There's no proof it's a disc. Again, putting facts and evidence when there is no evidence to support those facts.
from his vantage point. For reference, this is what he believes the disk looked
Oh,
like.
he believes it, so we're just supposed to believe it. Yeah.
And this is the speed we calculated the disk
Oh,
was
they're going to
moving
tell us the
over
speed
the
it was
building.
going.
Our experience raises a lot of questions that we don't yet have the answer to.
I was there.
Oh, let's go back to the speed. So they don't even know what distance it was from the camera. But hey, it could have been going 16.49 miles an hour. It could have been going 3,018 miles an hour. Or it could have been going as much as 8,872 miles an hour, depending on how far away it was. Didn't you have multiple cameras? Why couldn't you triangulate with multiple cameras to figure out the distance the object was going? Man, this is so stupid. I think Mick West this is so dumb that Mick West is going to skip this because it's just so stupid.
Building.
Maybe
Our
not.
experience raises a lot of questions that we don't yet have the answer to.
I was there.
Yeah, a lot of questions we don't have the answers to. So we'll just make up stuff.
Not to provide any conclusions. I was there to make sure that everything that was being done in a scientifically accurate way.
This is not scientifically accurate. Why didn't you ask them to get good cameras, you dummy? Wouldn't that be the first thing? Like, look, if this is only 2,000, and where's that graphic at again? They said it was a maximum of 2,000 feet away. So look at their triangle. That's a lot more than 2,000 feet away. That's 3,000 meters, the distance. They are contradicting the statements of the people that have already said things. They can't even get their story straight here. This is so dumb and stupid and childish and nonsensical. Gary Nolan, you're a scientist.
A lot of questions
you're
that
a
we don't have the
scientist.
answer to.
I was there.
Of course, he's an immunologist, so he doesn't know physics. I'm sorry, not sorry. Why didn't you have a physicist there? Why didn't you have an optical physicist there and photography experts and camera experts so that you could capture real footage? But they didn't. Oh, so sorry. So we'll just draw you a pretty picture of it. Trust us. It was a flying saucer alien spacecraft.
Not to provide any conclusions. I was there to make sure that everything that was being done in a scientifically accurate way.
This was not done in a scientifically accurate way, so you failed completely. You're a failure. Gary Nolan is a failure. He's a failure. He's a complete and total failure. You're a failure as a scientist and as a man. And by the way, not for nothing, but Gary Nolan is on record as being a homosexual. He has a husband. So why isn't he trying to summon the alien spaceships? Is he not left-handed? Couldn't he summon the alien spaceships? According to these people, if you're left-handed and a homosexual, you could summon alien spaceships, or you have the predisposition at least to summon the alien spaceships. None of this is making any sense. There's a lot of plot holes. I think they need better writers for their BS stories.
As dispassionately as possible.
Dispassionate, yeah.
And to be part of the advisor team.
Oh,
to make sure that this was done in a way that...
Why didn't you advise them to get a good camera?
Put together into a scientific paper. We had collected the kind of metadata required to say, well, we might not have a conclusion, but here is at least a story that tells us that the data which we're providing to perhaps some future event might be looked back to and said, oh, well, what happened there worked, that didn't work. So let's try this again.
Oh, yeah, let's try it again. And Duco Doos Alpha Ralpha. I'm sorry, I'll get your name right eventually. Just keep sending them super chats. I think we need 10 more. Praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank the gods of cash almighty. We're praising the cash. Duco Doos. Duco Duos Alpha Ralpha says, will some of these UFO people ever get a camera better than a potato? Remember, they set this whole thing up so that they can prove that these gay people with that are left-handed can summon alien spaceships. So wouldn't the first step be to get the best camera with the best telephoto lenses you could possibly get? Then you don't have to make pretty pictures. Of course they didn't do that. Duco Duos Alpha Ralpha, but thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. That's one for the goal. Old school gamers with the kind of generous $5. How do you feel about Captain David Fravor? My gut tells me he's telling the truth. Plus, he actually has evidence. Well, I think Fravor is an attention-seeking person. Remember, he was trying to get on TV shows before he came out with his UFO story, and he saw something mysterious. That much is true. He saw something he couldn't explain. That does not automatically equal aliens to me, old school gamers. And in fact, when David Fravor first came out with his story, he claimed that he thought it was top secret United States technology or something from a black program. It was only after he started hanging out with all the alien grifters that he suddenly changed his tune into what I saw could not have been made on Earth or whatever he says. And yes, Humphrey Bogard, great user ID, is correct in pointing out that Fravor doesn't have any evidence. He has his story. That's what he has. He has no evidence other than his eyewitness account. So it is what it is. All right, a few more to get through.
So that we can
a few
perhaps
more
make it
minutes to get
repeatable.
through.
Don Paul, who was also present at the event, had this
At the
to say.
event. Friends,
Well, I
let's
think
get
it's
some
pretty
super
standard
chats.
fare.
We need 9
There's
more for
certain things that
overtime.
the
We're
rational
almost
mind
there.
could attribute to it. Could be this or it could be that. But there are also things which move in ways which do not fit the normal laws of physics or aerodynamics. This is something that's pretty well known at this point. It goes way back in history. I have a combined 25 years law enforcement and military background prior to becoming involved in the similar endeavors in the private sector. It's very hard for people who have seen and experienced things to discuss it, because even our own loved ones, you don't want people to think you're crazy and there's something wrong with you.
Yeah,
Which
well,
it's one thing if you see it on a Netflix special, or if you have read about it or seen clips on TV. If you see it for real, it kind of changes your mindset about stuff. And I have, because of my military background, worked around a lot of aircraft, helicopters, fast movers. There are certain vehicles that move in ways which are not consistent with regular physics of what we consider aircraft in the conventional sense. There's a difference between believing and knowing. And you want to work with people who know things, so there is no question about the validity. Now it's a matter down to the nuts and bolts of how do we produce the evidence we need to make it approachable for everyone.
The flow of information now seems to be inevitable.
Yeah.
You cannot keep the truth from people. And it seems like
You're going to prove
reality is just
truth,
far more
this level of
complex
garbage,
than people
fake
realize.
information,
Yeah, it is.
data, fake
In this
content,
process,
potato
I've moved
fingers.
from
Come on,
a very
man.
pragmatic person, having very pragmatic responsibilities, to be burdened with things that are more abstract and cerebral.
Yeah.
But still having to keep my
Loving
foot in the
story.
pragmatic world. And that's a tough thing, because it's so, it's the truth can be distracting in that way. We are in a world right now where we're battling over resources.
Yeah.
And if
Don't
we
blink
can
or you
use
might
that
miss the alien
technology, or if we can
spaceship.
understand a way to interface with technology to create energy systems that can supply for our basic needs, then
And of course, this is a News Nation exclusive. The biggest trash news organization on planet Earth is producing this.
we're all better
Right
off.
to the watermark.
And
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And it feels like we're on the precipice of entering a new reality. And I really appreciate everything you're doing. And I'm excited to hopefully make a dent alongside you.
Yeah, let's make some dents.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah, you're not making a dent with videos of birds flapping and with pictures of what you claim is an alien spaceship that looks like it was taken with a potato, not a camera.
All right,
do it.
To dents.
To dents.
No, what they're really saying is let's make some money.
During our time together, there were multiple events that caused me to seriously question certain assumptions I have about reality.
Oh, you got to put in
The day we were
put in the speculation part at the end. They have to use the speculation part at the end because they have shit for evidence.
wrapping up our event, something incredible happened. There was a mass UAP sighting directly in the area where we ran our operation.
Oh, put together 2 disconnected stories. That's somehow proof.
There were dozens of claims on neighborhood apps of residents seeing anomalous things in the sky.
That somehow they're going to say, see, our alien summoners did that. No proof of that, but hey, this is a great part of the grift. They all do this. Put together totally disconnected stories. Like Jason Sands. Oh, I met an alien in the desert. And there's an old UFO video, and I'm going to say that the alien got into a spaceship that looks like the old UFO video that's been out on the internet for 10 years. And that's the alien spaceship he got into and flew off. when we didn't have the tritium, tyridium that he asked us for. This is another common trait. Conflate completely disconnected events and make it seem like these events are somehow connected. So, hey, we had these alien summoners, and then all these people started seeing UFOs. It must have been our alien summoners that caused this totally disconnected story and event.
The story picked up steam, and in a few days there were thousands of tweets about the incident. The FAA even imposed a temporary flight restriction over the area where we ran our operation. Is this causation? Did we cause this event?
See, there you go. I told you he was going to do that before he did it. You got to conflate the events. Did our alien summoners cause all these people to see alien spaceships in the sky?
Or
correlation?
Was it purely coincidental?
It was coincidence, dude. You have to take each event or sighting as a separate case, and they don't do that. They conflate.
We don't profess to have.
They conflate, they deceive, they manipulate the data, the stories. Look at the data they presented. A video that looks like flapping birds in the night sky and a video that looks like it could be a bug flying by a camera at high speed. This is ridiculous. This is the worst. This is the worst disclosure ever. I think I'm going to cry. Now I know why all the alien true believers are so depressed and anxiety ridden, because they've been getting promised the proof of alien spaceships for decades now. And this is the best you got? Flapping birds and goddamn bug, maybe a bug flying by the camera. And I admit, I can't right now 100% prove that those were flapping birds, but sure looks like it. And you got to apply Occam's razor. And also, I can't prove that was a bug flying by the camera, but they can't prove it wasn't. And they can't prove that those videos weren't of birds flapping in the sky. But they went straight to alien spaceships, something mysterious. Because, friends, there's no story to sell if you don't pretend it's mysterious. Or you just say, yeah, we filmed some stuff, and then we zoomed in the camera, and it looks like our optical, sensors, our eyes thought it was mysterious, but it turns out to be flapping birds. There's no story there to sell.
All the answers. But we do believe it's imperative that we find out. So we've set up Skywatcher, and this is only the beginning.
Yeah, and they're going to want money or something.
Skywatcher is not a media company.
Oh, we're not a media company.
It is a robust, well-financed initiative focused on validating or invalidating these supposed claims. We invite you to join
So it's a for-profit company?
us in this initiative, and we intend to share all our findings. Because perhaps, in order for us
to... Well, what a teaser. If this initial data was this good, I can't wait to see more data from the same group of clowns. What a clown show.
Actually level up. We need to acknowledge that reality is much more than it seems.
All right, that's enough of this. I can't. I'm just getting dumber and dumber. And look at the orb. Oh, we'll do one more second here so we can see this. Look at the orb, right? The orb that they're using in this graphic. It's stock. It's a stock image from like iStock.com or something like that, or Adobe Creative stock images. If you had all this proof, why wouldn't you put a real picture of an alien spaceship in your logo? Why do you need a stock image? And why do you need drawings and artist renderings? And why do you have to pay an animator to show us what the alien spaceship looks like? Couldn't you have just had a decent enough camera so that we could see it with our own eyes? Of course not. Michael Siebold says, Jason Sands is on Joe Rogan. Yeah, we might go through that whole slop. But thank you, Michael Siebold. That's another one for the goal. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Don't touch me, I'm crazy. Jason Sands' Rogan interview is hysterically funny. He calls an octagon an eighth gon at one point. Yeah, he's not too bright, that dude. And, I feel bad because I truly think that guy Jason Sands is mental. And anybody that will platform him is just encouraging his psychosis or his mental problems. And by the way, I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist or anything like that. It's just my observation. The guy seems like he's having a real tough time mentally. He's all but broken down and cried and shit in Twitter spaces over this stuff. We need a 5-camera shoot and dramatic zoom, says Propaganda LTD. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh man, I'll tell you what, that I'm getting argued with in my comments, but it is what it is. So we're at 23 of 30. Doesn't look like we're going to hit the overtime, but honestly, friends, my voice is leaving me. Had a very long day, so maybe we'll table it for tonight, but I'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with some more fun stories for all of us. Yeah, so we want to take a moment to thank you, kind and generous benefactors, you Patreon supporters. Hey, my Patreon is only $1. I'd appreciate you all joining. My model originally was to just have thousands of people, a few thousand people do the Patreon, and then we wouldn't need any more funding. But unfortunately, I can't remember. Maybe we get $100 or something like that, or maybe 200. I don't know, 190. I don't. So yeah, we're here doing the super chat shuffle. We want to take a moment to thank some kind and generous benefactors, including our PayPal pledgers. For those unaware, we read every single PayPal pledge. David B says, still riding along, a kind and generous $5.92 PayPal pledge. We thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. And we have Maria for a kind and generous $50 PayPal pledge, very, very generous, who says, are you doing a Wacky World of Wilcock update about the latest claims he's making? Yeah, of course. Of course. We're all in. This dude, for those unaware, David Wilcock claimed that I got him swatted, and then we got body cam footage, and we proved that he didn't even get swatted, let alone me having anything to do with it. And then he said he was going to sue me and get me arrested by the Colorado Sheriff's Office and the Philadelphia Police, and none of that happened. What's the Discord link? Let me find that for you right now. I will pin it in the live chat. For those unaware, we have a Discord, so if you enjoy these live chats with like-minded individuals, you may enjoy our Discord. So unlike the live chat settings, you can chat with like-minded people 24/7. How do I invite? I always have a problem with this. Create category, notification, email. 1 second. Invite people. All right. I'm going to put that into the live chat and I will pin it, and I'll just put link to join our Discord server. And there you can audio or video chat or just text chat with people 24/7. That is our, 1 second, I'll pin that. So pinned in the live chat is a way to join our Discord server. And I see we have another kind and generous person in the live chat. Another one from Jeff and Niggy, director's chair with the words on set. That's a super sticker. I'm told that we'll be able to display those properly soon from the people who make our studio software. But thank you just the same for your kindness, generosity, and support. We'll take a couple questions and comments from the live chat. Humphrey Bogart says, Wilcock is getting evicted. I don't know that that's true until I see actual eviction papers. That's purely, and by the way, the opinions and things expressed in the live chat are solely their opinions. So don't sue me, sue that guy. Salty Pug says David Wilcock is barely surviving. Yeah, and meanwhile we're thriving here. But I don't want to say I'm cheap, but yeah, I am cheap. We live very simple, inexpensive life. My wife and I both agree to try to keep all of our expenses down. My extravagant expense was to buy some land that was pretty much worthless to everybody else in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania and build a little cabin on it. We've got all kinds of lakes near us and streams near us and hiking trails and state forests. That's my extravagant expense. But my family has benefited so much from that investment, and it wasn't really too much of an investment of money. It was more, I mean, we had to buy the land. It was more an investment of time. For 5 years now, I've been slowly building that cabin. It's still not done. Every year I think I'm going to finish it, but I really need one more big room. That's what I always think. So we've just been we did 2 editions so far, and then the porch edition. So really, we built the original cabin that's 12 by 24. Then we put a 12 by 24 edition on one side. Then we put a 12 by 24 edition on the other side. And then we put a 10 by 30 front porch edition on the front of it. And I'm still going. We've got one more place to do one more edition, and that's straight out of the back. So I'm hoping maybe I'll work on that this year. Who knows? All right, so I think, my friends, we have done our due diligence. We want to thank all of you kind and generous benefactors, you Patreon supporters, you YouTube channel members, you super chatters, super stickers, super thanks people. Did you know that? You can still throw a couple bucks in our hat. Even if you're watching a replay, just hit that thanks button. I thank every super thanks person in the comments. So we thank all of you. And of course, you can buy me a coffee as well. The links to do that are in the description of the video. So I'm going to bounce on out of here. And really, to sort of wrap things up, all I will say is that these new people are new UFO messiahs. But we've seen tonight, look at the level of garbage that they're pushing and trying to pretend is something important. It's not. And I don't care how many military people you have involved, and I don't care how many scientists you have involved, especially if those scientists are not working within their field of expertise. An immunologist is not an optical physicist. And in order to do the project like they did, they should have had an optical physicist. They should have also had camera experts and photography experts who would have been able to identify if that was a bug that flew across the screen. Instead of getting a disclosure boner and getting all excited that this might be an alien spaceship, you could have eliminated that if you had the proper experts. They didn't. This is another for-profit enterprise run by, I would just say, less than credible people. And did you catch that? Oh, listen, look at that. 700,000 views. This video got 700,000 views. I don't know if they're monetized, but if they are, that's quite a chunk of change to get from 700 monetized views. And yeah, it is what it is. These latest so-called whistleblowers are kind of a joke. And if this is the best they got, disclosure ain't coming, friends. No, maybe next year. Maybe next year we'll get people that have cameras that are better than a potato, right? Maybe we will. So, what can I say? It's like living in clown world, right? And I keep saying this. We're going to expand into other subjects here on Truth Seekers, like true crime and some other things, ancient mysteries, and maybe some paranormal stuff that I think might have some meat on the bones or strange stories. But I can't keep going down this endless rabbit hole of nothingness. This is pathetic, and I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that I have to sift through this slop for you people. But I do it because I love you. You love the show. But we're going to have to get into some other subjects just so I can once in a while do a show that's not about these same clown jokers and stay sane. Anyway, that's the plan. But I keep saying I'm going to do it. It's very difficult to start a new project and do it really, really well. We tried starting a few shorts series. And by the way, hopefully we'll be starting a shorts channel very soon. There'll be 5 to 15 minute videos, a clips channel. And I'm going to get that set up in the next couple of weeks. We also have a new project. I was going to do Truth Seekers Uncensored, but then it sort of implies that we have to stick with our normal content, and I don't want to do that. So Kick.com is a new streaming platform for us. I'm going to be doing a new show on Kick.com. It's going to be a Kick.com exclusive, just Stephen Cambion Uncensored. And I'm still developing the concept, but it's going to be more than just alien stuff. It's basically going to be the craziest, funniest stuff from cobbled together from all over on the internet. Soulpin 900 AD says, Stephen, your brain hurting. It's understandable. Yeah, and I feel like I'm losing IQ points the more I'm forced to have to watch this shit, because I didn't even watch the whole thing earlier. I watched like 20 minutes of it, and I was like, this is so stupid. Let's do it. But, so it's not just a half hour to go through it, and then I had to make notes, and oh man, what a mess. Algaray wants clips of Trixie. Yeah, we'll put those back in because we don't have to worry as much about the music over there. At least I think so. Richard Warner says, I would like to see you interviewed on other shows. Get the truth out there. Get people to use discernment. Yeah, we're working on that. So what can I say, friends? We didn't hit the goal tonight, but certainly from a financial perspective, we did. We had some very kind and generous people throwing money in our hat. So we didn't hit the 30, but we more than surpassed any financial goals that I would like to have for this evening. I thank all of you kind and generous people for helping us do that. We're a viewer-supported show. We read every single super chat. We thank every single PayPal pledge or person buying us a coffee. If you become a YouTube channel member during the live broadcast, we give you a big shout-out and a thank you. We appreciate you, and thanks so much for appreciating us. So that's all I got for you, friends. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambian. Good night, and God bless all of you.
Dark corners of the night, secrets hidden from the light. Whispers turn to screams, shattering all your dreams. Eyes wide open now, truth you can't disavow. Echoes through the halls, crashing all your walls. Truth seekers, exposing the truth. Truth seekers, coming for you. Uncover the lies, open your eyes. Shadows try to hide, no place for them to bide. Light will pierce you through, reveal what is true.